can't be real. I think he might have the job done finally. The Warren gives him no space. He's in the wall, turn point, he's taking out Bruce Dean as well. Oh, big moment there, Kurt Stenberg on his roof. Big crash at turn 4, that is an unfortunate, huge crash.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the final race for the Automobilista Supercars Championship here on the streets of Adelaide, the return to the Adelaide Street Circuit. My name is Michael Zalavari in the host seat tonight, and I'm joined tonight by Josh Bagsy Bag. Good evening, Bagsy.
Evening, Michael. How are you going? It's good to be here. Got a bit of an interesting commentary duo tonight, and we're going to be your regularly scheduled Madbird and Stairs are not here, but we will do our best to fill their sizable boots.
Yes, sizable indeed. It's been a bit of a truncated season in the commentary box. I think we've had almost a different combination each night, it's felt like, throughout the season. So yeah, it's been good fun to get a bit more of a chance to do some of the lead commentary, but it's good to have you along, Bagsy, for this one, the big one tonight, the finale on the streets of Adelaide.
Yeah, we're going in with 3 people with a mathematical chance at winning. So 2 Warrens and a Stenberg are going to be fighting it out to see who has a chance at winning.
Yes, and that's, of course, the key story tonight. But as well, it is just nice to have a bit of a wrap-up on the ASC 2022 season as well. And what an iconic track to finish us off this season, Bagsy. It's one of those classic race circuits, something that's very close to, I know, my heart, and I assume yours as well as a South Australian local, the streets of Adelaide. How good is it to be back here?
It's excellent to be back here, and it's definitely something V8 Supercars was missing. It is my favourite street circuit, second only to the Canberra street circuit, of course.
Oh, gross.
And it is a absolutely wonderful place. I do miss the fact that it's not the full F1 layout, because I do think that would be interesting for supercars, although it does remove turn 8. It is quite a high-speed version, but this one has served supercars quite well. And a note that... you noticed earlier the fact that because this is an older version of the map of the track rather, some of the corners, I believe, at the top end of the circuit are slightly different, so you can go run a bit wider and gain a bit of lap time.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in a little bit when it gets closer to race and practice time. But for the moment, let's have a look at the points. And you made mention, Bagsy, that there's a few drivers still with a chance of the championship. Dane Warren leads us away on 3,277, but the gap is only around 170 points to Kurt Stenberg, and then only another 40 points back beyond that. And with 150 for a race win tonight, it means that the top 3 are still in with a chance.
They definitely are. It's really Dane Warren's championship to lose, though, in the end, because he is a fair way ahead. He can win after the first race tonight if he manages to get that 150-point gap. So it'll be really on him to not stuff up tonight, and Stenberg and Warren to really pressure him and try and force a mistake, because that's really the main thing they need to have to be able to win tonight.
Absolutely. And in the team's classification as well, Trans-Tasman Racing comfortably ahead of the Warwick Racing team, and then ahead of the All-Australian races, and I think that's also the WRT. Not sure what that WRT is. And then ZB Racing, and then VRS Kind of Sim Sport, Mayfleet Sim Sport, Synergy Sim Racing, and a few others down the tail of the field. Yeah, quite an interesting battle at the top of the field. It has been Dane Warren's championship up at the front, though, and he's the one that is going to be the key player tonight. We'll just actually cut to some practice action if we can. And so this is the section that you were talking about, Bagsy, earlier. That is the newer section, or sorry, the older section in comparison to what they've got now. Just take us through the changes compared to what we've got here in Automobilista versus what we were seeing at the race, if you caught the real deal, just a few weeks ago.
Well, I think you'd be almost better doing this because you were in this area where you're not marshalling, if I'm remembering correctly.
I was just the corner beforehand was where I was at.
Yeah. But anyway, the wall which you can see on the right-hand side is a fair way back set against towards those trees there, and this year it was brought in closer, so it's a much narrower exit of the corner. So people had to be a lot more careful and take a line, much like I didn't spot who that was going through there, but this tighter line that people are taking. But we have seen the people who are fastest in practice, which is Rosella and the Warrens, are really going and bumping across that curb because you can carry so much more speed and you don't really have to worry about losing traction over there because you've got acres of space on the outside before you reach that wall.
Yeah, so this is turn 6 and 7, as it looks like you're getting through. So yeah, as you can just see that car there, which was Michael Pollard, riding over the top of the curb, you can actually roll off the other side of it and use a bit more room, whereas on the exit here, ooh, hang on, I gotta get my buttons right. This is the issue with the new setup. We'll find out, we'll figure it out at some point as we actually just roll over into the next session. Okay, we'll go on an adventure here. So turn 6 and turn 7, and then this is it's not the exit of turn 7.
The joys of live TV.
Well, we tried and we failed miserably, and so the lesson is we'll run the intro screen again, I guess. It's part of the reason for that is, of course, that the Adelaide is actually one of the default tracks not default tracks, but actually inbuilt tracks in Automobilista. So it means that we don't have to worry about messing around with a mod, which is quite nice.
It definitely makes for a smoother run because Automobilista can get quite finicky when it comes to things that it doesn't like, which is anything that's not included by default. Despite it being an excellent game for modifying things, it does like to throw a bit of a hissy every now and then. So keeping it stock is every now, basically. But it is it's an excellent track as well. It's been very well crafted too. You really get the some of the tracks you sort of feel like you've just got the track and that's it. But this one very much feels like you're driving around through the city compared to a lot of others.
Yeah, which is absolutely what you are after. We got the official practice starting, but it doesn't seem like we've got any cars ready on track just yet. So we are just waiting for the proper proceedings to get underway. While we're doing that, we'll take you through the race format for tonight because it is a bit of an adjusted one. Of course, we've got our 2 normal races. We've got a 5-minute qualifying session after the 15 minutes of practice, and then a top 10 shootout for the cars in that first qualifying session. So we've got now 17 cars in the server. That will be certainly more exciting than just having the 10 cars we had earlier. And then we've got a 30-lap race for race 1 with 2 compulsory pit stops. So that's sure to be quite a difficult race to keep track of. I hope you've got your notepad ready, Bagsy, for that one.
It's been reappropriated. I'm going to have to grab another one.
Brilliant. And then after that, we've got qualifying 2, another 5-minute session. No top 10 shootout for qualifying 2. Straight into a 14-lap race and into 1 compulsory pit stop for that one. And we have cars out on track for the official practice. So we've got, I think this is Chris Island by the looks of it, and a privateer car just behind Thomas McMillan, going through the staircase. So I'm not entirely familiar with all these names. This is the section we're talking about, turn 6 and 7. So we're running a little blind here, but of course it wouldn't be ASC if we weren't running just a little blind.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see they're really giving it a go straight in as they go through turn 8 there. They're having a good time with it. It's been quite watching the practice. There's been a lot of people just absolutely firing into the fence repeatedly, just trying to find where they can push it. And here we have where on the weekend every man and their dog was crashing into the fence there
at turn 11.
It was hopefully we have less of that. The barrier is a lot less spongy here than it is in real life, luckily.
Well, that's true, but it did mean that we had a few cars stuck underneath the barrier in the real deal. So we'll be lucky not to have that problem this evening as Ireland goes straight through the centre chicane there, turns 1 and 2.
It's a very fast line, but not legal.
Not legal, no. We're just going to leave off these two guys and have a look at Kurt Stenberg running a tribute livery tonight for the final race of Holden in the Automobilista Supercars Championship. Of course, there was a big farewell to Holden at the Adelaide 500, with that being the last official race for Holden in the Supercars Championship. So it's nice that Kurt has done the same for his livery tonight, even though he's just wiped it along the wall at turn 3 there.
Yeah, it's like ruin that paint job quite quickly. It's definitely the livery of the night for mine. Although I do like Colin Warwick's. It reminds me of. It seemed if in an alternate universe where Kmart was called Warwick instead. That's what the livery reminds me of.
Yeah, that's this one that we've got on screen now. Very much harkening back to the Greg Murphy 2002 livery. Beautiful looking thing. That just brings back so many supercars memories.
Yes, memories of the Canberra Street Circuit as well.
Oh my gosh. What is your obsession with the Canberra Street Circuit?
I've made a bet. I need to mention it a certain amount of times tonight.
Oh, okay, brilliant. I can't wait to hear more of that.
I do love the Canberra Street. It's Mark Scaife's magnum opus in track design, and I will fight anyone who disagrees with me. He's basically Mark Herman Tilk Scaife. It's an excellent track that was sadly removed before its time and hampered by the fact that it was in Canberra in June, which might as well have been in Antarctica.
Yeah, that's true. On one hand, though, it does have quite possibly the most iconic moment in supercars commentary ever.
Yes.
A top 3, of course.
I believe so.
It's of course the
Control
tire. Cool. That still pops up on Reddit every now and then as like unexpected or can't believe this has happened or whatever.
I think that is in the top. It's easily top 5, probably top 3 of all commentary remarks in any sport ever, because it's just it's a perfect, like, there's the build up, there's the drama of other cars going by, and then just so wryly delivered as well. You could not ask for a more perfect delivery on a perfect line after that setup. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. And the main thing the Canberra Street Circuit is known for.
Pretty much, because it's not known for, well, anything else. I can't think of anything else that notable that happened there. To be fair, it was just in the very beginning of my interest in supercars, but yeah, it's not really a street circuit that lives in my memory. Not like this.
Basically, Canberra saw Adelaide and how successful they were with the Adelaide 500 the first year and thought, we want to do that too, and then put a lot less money and planning into it, and the result was it got canned in 3 years, whereas Adelaide is still going strong.
Yes, the return of Adelaide as well, which I feel like is important to mention. While we are on the streets of Adelaide, we are hunting this man, Dane Warren, who has been the time setter so far this evening, with a best time. It's actually not showing up for me. Certainly, Dane Warren has been the best time so far, and in fact, he does start his first flying lap. And look at how much road he's using, even on the main straight on the entry to turn 1.
Yeah, he's using every single piece of tarmac like he's paying for the whole thing. And is definitely extracting every inch of time there. I believe Luke Rosella, before we rolled over to this practice session, was the pace setter at the front. So be looking to get ahead of him because, yeah, they're really wanting to try and keep things fairly. Dane wants things to stay fairly smooth, and for him, smooth will be leading from the front the whole race and not having to worry about anyone else, because Rosella, while he's way out of championship contention, can still overtake Steve Warwick in the championship for 7th, and has Berenguela?
Cuz Berenguela, yes, RSM Latino.
Yeah, there you go. He's got him right behind him in the championship, so they're fighting over 8th at the moment as well. So he's not going to want to take any prisoners And a incident that knocks Dane Warren out of the race is bad for Dane Warren. So he wants to try and keep all that firmly in his rear vision mirror and be able to control the race.
Yeah, absolutely. We have seen Dane struggle with his starts this year in a variety of races throughout the season. So, yeah, certainly something that he will have to keep on top of. We've seen Ethan really take it to him at the start line, but, on his first flying lap of the practice session, gapping the field by 1.1 seconds. It's ominous signs already for the champion-elect.
Yeah, I think he's lazy. He'll get his eye in and just absolutely romp away as he wants to do. I think I don't have the full statistics ahead of me, but in front of me rather. But was he really attacking that curb there? He's been doing quite well this season, and I think he's leading in wins. Yes.
Yeah, that 100%. Another Holden tribute livery that I've come across is the Steve Warwick number 63 car, just coming through turn 5 now, running the very old black or blue and white livery of the late 1990s. I believe that's Craig Lowndes livery on that car, which is another nice little color combination. Which we
quite nice, although as we observe it from very far away in the helicopter. Oh, here we go. This is closer.
Yeah.
One is the first. This is the first livery I remember. And the second one being the blue Pertec, I believe, Falcon livery.
Yes.
I think it was, which I think was Ambrose's livery.
Yeah, the Stone Brothers Racing one.
So they're the two that stick out, and then I believe Paul Radisic's silver and black with green, the green-eyed monster, which is still, in my opinion, the greatest looking V8 supercar to ever exist, despite being a die-hard Holden fan. Yeah, can't really go past the AU Falcon.
I wasn't sure that was Radicic. I was pretty sure that was.
Was it? I thought. Maybe it wasn't Radicic. But I think it might have been Lowndes and Radicic driving together at Bathurst in it, potentially.
Oh,
I could be very wrong though.
I reckon it was Lowndes and Crompton because Radicic was still driving the Shell DJR
he was in the Shell car, wasn't he?
Yeah.
True. I'm definitely wrong then. Still, it's a very good car.
It is indeed.
And my favourite.
Yeah, green-eyed monster. It was just iconic, wasn't it? Just those that sleek silver design with the 00 on the windows, and then just the green light covers. Just something that was so. As Thomas McMillan wipes the wall on the outside there, just so just striking and just ahead of its time. So just having a look at the times through the field at the moment, Dane Warren leads us away at the moment with 5 minutes left of practice with a 17-1, which is quite a time at the moment. We've got Luke Rosella and Thomas McMillan just over a second behind. Then Trent Allen. We've just got a little bit of a problem with Trent Allen's car on one of our screens, so we're not seeing his full livery, unfortunately, on one of our broadcast cameras. So sorry about that, Trent, when you come to watch this back. Then we got Zach Baker, Kurt Stubber. Oh, Thomas! He's kept it off the wall. He didn't keep it off the wall.
He shouldn't have let go of the brakes there.
No.
That was
and
unfortunate.
That car will be going straight back to the pit lane, I suspect.
After almost reversing into his fellow racer there. But no, he's on his way again. I guess he probably sort of nosed in fairly slowly, so I think might be okay again. There's only 4 minutes left, so he probably just wants to do a couple more laps and let it be.
Speaking of a few more laps, let's jump on board the Adelaide Street Circuit with Kurt Stenberg now, coming through turns 1, 2 and 3, right out to the wall at turn 3, and then into the difficult braking at turn 4. We've got a yellow flag in the sector ahead, and it's a car spun.
That's why.
Oh, who was that?
We'll
see if we can find out on our other screen. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one.
I believe it might have been Sykes.
Yes, we did. It was Aiden Sykes. But we'll catch a replay of that as after this lap. So watching Stenberg down the back straight now into turn 8. Just a little bit of a lift. And
he's got the wall.
Lucky to get away with that one. Into turn 9 now, the slowest part of the track, the best passing opportunity of the track as well, if you can line that up. Another yellow flag just ahead in this sector as we come through turns 10 and 11. That's another car. That's Thomas McMillan spun to driver's left.
Just throwing it off the road in front of him, eh?
Any distraction for Kurt as he comes through the final corner. I had to throw gears at it to get it stopped there. It was very unsettled.
Yeah, he sort of pointed at the apex a lot earlier than you'd expect in that one. You sort of want to keep that braking in a straight line, as there is someone coming out the pits here, which affects how much room he gets on the other side, but nails it across the first chicane there.
Yeah, and we'll just have a quick look at... Oh, no, I messed it up. Hang on. No, I tried and I failed miserably, and so the lesson is never try.
Never try.
Oh, it is just like a little bit of a learning sequence to get back into figuring out how all the buttons work.
It is quite the effort to be able to do all the switching as well as the commentary at the same time, because you're trying to think about two things at once. And I am always quite... Oh, because Kurt clipped the wall on the outside wall on the way into turn 8 there, but he didn't get it on the way out this time, so that's good for him.
And that's
geez, he's getting as close to the wall as he possibly wants to in the braking zone there. Jeez, you don't want to be a fly standing on the wall, you get wiped off.
Or a camera.
But yeah, but he's pushing it as hard as he can here. Yeah, the job that Stairs does, basically being director, producer, and commentating at the same time, is very, very good as Stenberg comes into the pits.
And we did
Rosella fires it off.
Yeah, let's have a look at this one. Oh, no, let's not. That one. Here we go. So I was just watching this on the other screen, just as he came into turn 4.
Very good flick spin there.
Well, I'd love to have seen it, but unfortunately, it was... Yeah, so just...
Yeah, so you saw it wiggle on the brakes on the way in there, and he just never was going to make the corner.
And it's a very difficult braking zone up into turn 4, isn't it, Bagsy? Because not only is it slightly uphill, but you've got bumps to contend with as well. So every single time, like as you're pressing the brakes, you've got to modulate it to try and get over those bumps without throwing it off the road.
100%, and also the car can sometimes still be a little unsettled as you're coming out of turn 3 as well. And so, because you're going across the chicane, you're straight on the power and you're not letting off, you upshifting, and so you're wanting to keep the car straight, but you're still coming across the track from the right-hander before, the left-hander before. So, yeah, it's very easy to just get on a bump at the wrong point when your car's weighted in a slightly different configuration to normal, and just end up spitting yourself down that road.
One of the key things about the Adelaide Parkland circuit is we've got 20 seconds left in this practice session, and a little bit of congestion here for Ethan Warren. Is that every single... Oh, there's a touch there between Warren. I think that was Pollard, and that's fired Pollard off into the wall.
Oh, that's not very nice from him there.
No.
If I'm honest.
So let's have a look here, see if we can get on board. So a little bit of a touch there, and then coming through 10 and 11 just nails him in the rear, and that's, see you later there.
Exit stage right for Pollard, yeah. That was a little bit rude there, but guessing it was Ethan felt he was being impeded on that lap and wasn't expecting the slowdown there.
Well, it was the last lap of the session as well, so we've now gone checkered flag on this session. Just to finish my point that I was trying to make earlier, is that one of the key things about this track is that every single corner has a consequence. You can't really make any sort of mistakes, because it doesn't matter where you make a mistake, you're going to find the concrete, and we saw that at the Adelaide 500 a few weekends ago, or last weekend rather. It was just a bruising weekend across the field.
Definitely was. Really, I think the only place you can properly make a mistake is as you're coming up the staircase after turn 4 and 5 and that. There's not... If you make a small mistake, there's not really much people can do to capitalize on it, just because of how narrow it is. And that being said, we've seen people go side by side through there though, and manage to make it last for quite a while. But it's a pretty good spot to, if you're going to stuff up your lap, it's a good spot to do it at, basically.
Absolutely. So time on that practice session, and it was Dane Warren who led the field with a 1:17.4. So ominous signs for the likes of Ethan Warren and Kurt Stenberg if they are to have a shot at the championship victory this evening. Luke Rosella was in second, and Thomas McMillan rounded out the top 3. Kurt Stenberg was just behind McMillan to the tune of 9,000ths of a second in that practice session. So very tight at the top, behind Dane Warren, which has been the story of the season so far, Bagsy.
Yeah, has pretty much got to follow him along the whole way and see how it goes. But I can't find. I found the thing that had the wins and I've lost it again. I think he's had a few wins this season.
Oh, just one or two,
Sorry, I think I'm talking to the wrong person here. Sorry. But yeah, bro, it'll be interesting to see because we're going to have qualifying now and then the top 10 shootout after that. So there's going to be, top 10 shootout, there's always a chance for something to go wrong. I mean, it doesn't usually for the likes of Dane Morin, but there's always a chance.
There is a chance, yes. And we've seen, even for the likes of Kurt Stenberg or Luke Rosella, that it can go wrong. And while we saw Luke Rosella at Bathurst run into a curb strike. So here we are, the qualifying session as the cars get ready on the exit of the turn of the pit straight rather. And yeah, it's just I love this. I love that they go ahead and try and do this and get this to look as pretty as they can for the start of the sessions as we go. Green flag shortly for this qualifying session. 5 minutes, guys. 5 minutes. It's going to be very, very quick. A quick fire qualifying session for this to decide the grid for race 1. Decide the top 10 for race 1, rather.
There's really not much time as off they go. It's really unfortunate if you're at the back of the queue here because probably almost getting a lap less, honestly. Although we do see a few people just holding off a little bit before they go, trying to go for potentially a bit more of an advantageous track position, but it'll be interesting to see. I think first one out is Turmo, I believe, is first on track, so as they're all just absolutely going for it up into turn 4.
And Turmo has had a habit of being the first one out on track a few times this season, so we'll hopefully catch up on him and see if he can put in a good lap as the rest of the field snakes its way down Wakefield Street into turn 4 and then tries to find just a little bit of space on their way up towards turn 8. We'll make reference to the timing sectors.
Side by side through turn 8 there on the qualifying lap. Oh, he's in the fence.
That's not how you want to start your qualifying, is it?
It's not. It's ridiculous. Like, why are you going side by side through turn 8? And is Turmo getting sponsorship from Need for Speed Unbound, or does he just really like the game? Because it's only just come out.
I don't know. It's a great question. As oops, no, we just had Turmo. There he is.
There we go.
What I was doing. So we'll get
Turmo, first crack at the apple.
Oh, and he's gone sideways into turn 1, and he's probably.
You reckon that'll count?
I reckon it will. So we'll make reference just quickly to the timing sectors. The first sector ends just between turns 5 and 6. So we'll get a sector time for Turmo in just a moment, and it will just be here, and we'll see very quickly whether or not he has got a track strike. And I reckon he has, because the timing sector didn't trigger there. So I reckon Turmo has done himself dirty straight away.
Yeah, well, Chris has gone through with a 22.5.
And
so yeah, I'd say Turmo, and you can see he's got out the throttle and he's off to the side.
And yeah, he's rolled out of it. So now we'll have a look at Ethan Warren as he comes through turn 7 using all of the exit road. And a bit more as he comes into turn 8, rubbing that mirror right up against the wall. Wow. Slides it through. He's got the overhead.
Geez, did he hit the wall there?
I think he just did. We'll see a second sector mark just on the exit of turn 9 here at Britannia Roundabout. And it is still, it's second fast, 52.9. So Luke Rosella currently has the best time. And he's just coming into the final corner now. We'll catch him come down the main straight. And he sets a 17-1, so right on the pace of what we saw in practice for Luke Rosella.
It's very well done from Luke Rosella. Is Ethan Warren only makes second place, and Dane is about to follow him across the line. Second for Dane, 0.117 seconds behind.
And here is Dane. Something I have noticed, Bagsy, is that there's no tyre bundle on the entry to turn 1. So it's a bit odd for... sorry, not odd, rather. It means you can just take a whole lot more speed through turn 1, open it up a lot more. So not surprising at all to see some hero times at the moment.
Oh yeah, people are just absolutely rinsing it on the way in through there because yeah, there's not no punishment for it. They're really going for broke as they go in.
And I'm just going to bring us back to Luke Rosella because he's on a hot lap again. And ooh, what am I doing with that? Sorry, trying things with the buttons. He's gone purple to sector 1, purple to sector 2. As we come into the final corner, is this going to be another purple, another fastest lap for Luke Rosella? And it is a 17 flat for Rosella.
Ooh, he's going for it.
Absolutely. We've already got 30 seconds left in this session. The session goes quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, I keep forgetting it's only 5 minutes. We're going to spend more time, twice the amount of time on the shootout than we are on the actual qualifying. There's not much room for error. Only 11 people have set lap times so far as well. So there's still got Zach Baker, Steve Warwick, Kai Jones, Stenny, Brandon Dostal, Lockie Burke, and Trent Allen. None of whom have set times. Lockie Burke's in the pits, so he's not setting a time.
Brandon Dostal's just gone off at turn 4, so he's done. He's cooked.
Yeah, he'd only just left the pits as well, so he wasn't making it either. Steen's in the garage. I believe Zach Baker has made it on a lap time, so he'll probably be the last person.
He's in the wall. He's in the wall at turn 7. He's done. He's not going to get a lap time in. He was fried by the track cut last lap around, and now this time he's been cooked. He's cooked it at turn 7.
It's very unfortunate for him. He had 2 shots at it and buttered it up both times. So yeah, it will come down to, we've got at the moment, Luke Rosella is still in the lead going into the shootout. The cutoff though is Steve Warwick in 10th with a 120.348, and he is only a 10th and a half ahead of Aiden Sykes, and who's only managed to go. Aiden Sykes is coming through to finish his lap now, so he needs to improve by 150 milliseconds to be able to make it into the top 10 shootout.
It's going to be very tight. Sykes, he gets there.
9th.
Wow, and that puts RSM Latino on the bubble. And
Steve Warwick is still out there though.
He is? Okay, we'll watch
But he needs
Pollard.
3/10.
Watch Pollard come across the line. He's in the hunt as well. He doesn't improve. Let's see if we can find Steve Warwick.
He's not going to improve. Yep. So that will be it. RSM Latino makes it through. Aiden Sykes on his last possible opportunity gives himself, in the end, quite a comfortable buffer. He had 4/10 over Steve Warwick, so he's done pretty well in that regard, considering he was already a 10th and a half back. That's a good delta increase right there.
Yes, and it just sneaks in at the very end of the session. So well done to Aiden Sykes. So your top 10 was Rosella, Warren, Warwick, Thomas McMillan, Kurt Stenberg, Termo, Chris... I'm not sure on the last name of that one. Aiden Sykes and RSM Latino. So Steve Warwick knocked out Kai Jones, Michael Pollard, Zach Baker, and then Zach Baker didn't set a lap. Neither did Stenny, Brandon Dostal, Lockie Burke, or Trent Allen. So a few names at the tail end there missing out in a big way.
Yeah, I mean, a few of the ones at the bottom didn't set times, but Zach Baker is the real surprise here. Tried to set a time and wasn't successful both times. So yeah, that's be looking for him to be charging through the field potentially in the race. But yeah, it's quite close at the top though as well. We'll see once it comes down to one lap how we're going to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one lap shootout, we made mention of it briefly just before the qualifying session started. That is always a conductor of chaos. We saw Luke Rosella I think at Bathurst almost throw it away on a shootout. It must have been last year because we didn't see qualifying this year, unfortunately. We saw a curb strike scupper the chances of Kurt Stenberg at one of the rounds as well, and that's going to be something that they're going to be focused on. The curb at turn 1 is going to be a real sticking point for those who are going to be on the shootout lap, because the last thing you want when you've qualified in the top 10 is to potentially throw it all away in the shootout because you've hit the curb.
Yeah, well, in terms of if multiple people get curb strikes, does it go based on their qualifying position or how far they got through the lap, or just
I would
consulting the astronomical charts?
I would suspect that it would be based on the order that they qualified in. So, for example, if first and eighth both get a curb strike, you'd put whoever qualified in first above whoever qualified in eighth, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Although I think if first got the curb strike on the first corner and eighth got it further down the track, you'd argue eighth did more of a lap and therefore more of a representative time, so that they would potentially be the ones in consideration for the position ahead.
Possibly. And this is not that. This is the curb that we're talking about here at turn 1. So if okay, apparently not.
That's some sky.
There we are. That's what we're talking about. So just where the cursor is there, that's that curb, and you want to make sure that all 4 wheels, you don't get all 4 wheels beyond this yellow line. So that's the delineation between on track and off track. So as long as you have your left hand side wheels at some point over the yellow line, you're fine. But yeah, that's the difficult part, and because of course the closer you get to getting across that line, the quicker your car will be.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If you don't have to take the corners, you can go very quickly, can't you? But
the corners are there for a reason, right?
They are. It is. It's. They could design it with walls there, but that would probably result in deaths. So
many a crash.
It's done this way for a reason. You see at the start of the races, especially, there's leeway given because it's not really possible for cars to go side by side through it, as we saw many a time in Formula One, as well as we have in V8s. So yeah, it's an interesting piece of track design. If I'm honest, I often wonder how it would go if it was just a straight run through where you did a quick, a couple of quick lefts instead of the chicane there. But I feel like this adds a bit of character, which is good.
Adds a bit of character, adds a bit of chaos. It's really just like a little bit of a unique design feature there. A lot of cars end up in the gravel trap though, which drags a lot of gravel onto the everything. But yeah, certainly a good feature of the track. And again, another thing that adds consequence and adds a little bit of spice to a difficult racetrack.
100%, and it's one of those things where although that was one of the reasons Canberra was disparaged as a street circuit was because of all the chicanes it had, but I think they added plenty of spice to the track, and I think I only need to mention it one more time and I'm good. But it is a excellent addition in this case.
Yes, I tend to agree, and it's the only one, and it's not like a slow Mickey Mouse chicane either. It's something you take at
full bore
third or fourth gear and trying to straighten out as much as you can. Cool. So we are. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say we are gearing up for the shootout, so let's have a look at our track for this evening. It is, of course, the Adelaide Street Circuit, turns 1, 2, and 3, 3.22 kilometers and clockwise. Qualifying record, Dane Warren, 1:16.3. We might not get there tonight. The race lap record, a 16.37 as well. So that one might be under a little bit of strife. It's, of course, using the older tyre model. Previous pole sitters, Dane Warren and Dane Warren. Let's see if he can do the same tonight as we get the shootout underway with Cuz Berenguela, RSM Latino.
So he's on his out lap now, and just be siding the first one to take to the track. You sort of always be a bit nervous when you're the first one out, because literally all eyes are on you. It's going to be everyone's waiting to find out what you're going to find out with the track. And I believe that the track is reset to completely fresh at the start of the shootout session.
Possibly.
So it's mildly used, but that will improve over time.
Yeah, so it's gonna rubber up as the session goes along, which is a little bit of an advantage to those qualifying a bit further back, but not really measurable. It's not like you've got a whole field of 20 cars going through. It is just RSM Latino at this stage.
Yes, he's all on his lonesome and ready to attack his Adelaide street circuit. The first person to attack it by himself on the return to Adelaide.
And we'll come through the final corner, hear the roar in the grandstands, or something like that, as he comes down to the main straight. Start his qualifying lap. Nicely over the curbs at 1 and 2, through 3, coming up Wakefield Street into the braking zone at 4. Uses a very wide entry, locks the front wheel, has to bowl just a little bit of a wide there, but keeps it on the circuit as he goes through the S's, or through the staircase on East Terrace. Turn 5 for 22.8, the first sector, Bagsy.
Yeah, it's quite a good representative time so far for RSM Latino, despite having that little lockup, and he climbs over that curb, so he's making use of all of the road he has as he comes down to turn 8. Keeping a fair way off that wall, though. We've seen a lot of the Warrens being very close. So he turns it in. So, he's definitely scraped the wall there, though. That'll brush off a bit of speed, but luckily will not damage the car so much. Down into turn 9. Gets it squared up quite nicely. 54.7 to the second sector marker as we come through turn 11. Doesn't get caught out by it. Manages to dodge that barrier. Now one more braking zone. See how he handles it. Gets the car nice and straight. Beautiful braking there. A little bit wide of the apex, but pretty good. Kick the tail out just to give the fans something of what they want. And across the line, a 1:19.7.
Not a bad lap at all for RSM Latino to start us off. Just that little moment at turn 4 just sent him a bit backwards down the field, it must be said. Oh, well, backwards down the field. It's the first lap. But still not the ideal start for RSM Latino, but he does hold the current top position, of course, as the first driver out. So we've got Aiden Sykes next. He will be the next driver on track. And let's see if he can improve on RSM Latino's 19.7.
And remember, he only just made it in as well. He was behind RSM Latino for a lot of the qualifying session. No, he's not going to beat him there. That's a big mistake. So he'll continue to lap because he will still beat anyone who hasn't.
He's got a puncture.
Oh no, he will not finish the lap.
Oh no, what a shame.
That will be that. I don't know, maybe he's going to continue.
Let's see if we can have a look here just at the replay. Coming through turn 1, got way over the curb, and that just sent the car straight into the wall.
He's soldiering on with the lap, which I think is a smart idea if he hasn't tripped, or if he hasn't
hit the sector
if
mark.
He's registered a track cut or not, but I think he has, and I think he's giving up on it now because he could still set a time conceivably. But no, that's unfortunate. He has parked it.
Very unfortunate indeed for Aiden Sykes. After all that effort to scrape into the top 10 shootout, he misses out on setting a good lap. We've got now Chris, the next one in, Chris Ireland, set... see if I can find the time, what he set to get into the session. He set a 19.3 to get into the qualifying top 10 shootout. So we'll see whether or not he can improve on not a name that I think we've seen too much this season for ASC Chris Island, but certainly top 10 shootout in his first run at Adelaide is an encouraging start as he comes in to start his shootout lap.
Yeah, it's nice and tidy off to the start. He gets on the throttle here, and it'll be see how he manages this first chicane. Hopefully better than Aiden. Uses all the available road there, and across he goes. Very nicely done, very tidy.
A bit more conservative compared to Aiden Sykes on that one.
Well, yeah, I think not crashing is by definition more conservative than crashing. Although it looked like he was a little bit slow through there, but he is up on RSM Latino's time very slightly. Bumps across the edges. We've seen these RSM Latino and Chris both. The way they're taking it across the curb there, you can just tell the difference between them and the more experienced guys in the Warrens and co, because they really attack that curb. They don't mind that the car's loose as it comes over because they know it's going to grip up. Where you see some of these guys who are a bit slower and further back in the top 10, still a bit uncertain about when the car's going to bite, and he's still very close to RSM Latino for the second sector.
Just 25 thousandths of a second as he comes through turn 11. It's very close on the sector splits so far. We'll see how he gets it settled for the final corner. It breaks in a nice straight line for turn 14. A little narrow on exit, so it just opens up the wheels, the steering wheel, and will come across the line and sets a 19.5 to go top of the session so far.
A very good final sector from him there. He gained a lot of time in a really where there's not a huge amount of time to be gained. It's really one proper braking zone.
Oh, you've got turn 11 and you've got the final corner in that, so two kind of difficult sections in that corner, but still very impressive. Now we have Curtis Enigmatis running the NFS Unbound livery, which is a bit peculiar. But we'll see what he can do in this qualifying session, this shootout session. He's at an 18.9 to get into the shootout, so if he can get anywhere close to that, he should certainly take the provisional pole position, at least for now.
Very good line through that final corner.
Coming down into turn 1. Oh, used a lot of the entry at turn 1. And swings his way through down Wakefield Street, up the little rise into turn 4. Hits the apex of turn 4 very nicely. Gets the car settled and rotated for turns 5 and then turn 6. Let's go through the staircase. 3/10 up the first sector. It's an amazing start to the lap for Turbo.
Attacks that curb as well.
And launches over turn 7 as well. So now here's the run down towards turn 8. See how brave he is. Oh, tips it in. You can feel the rear of the car slide. Manages to keep it all together.
A little bit wide of the apex there, but still 3/10 up.
Looking very nice at this part of the lap is Turmo. 3/10 up on the time of Chris Island. Again, last sector just to negotiate. Oh, a little bit of an inside front lock, and he's gone wide.
I think he'll still manage to beat them, but it'll be close.
And a 19 flat.
Oh.
A wonderful final sector there for Turmo to go top of the pile with a 19 flat. So far, the closest to his provisional qualifying time to get into the shootout. So well done, Turmo, who will cut a sick dolly at the turn 4 runoff. No, he won't, to celebrate.
Yeah. Be a bit early to celebrate. I think, potentially.
Next up is Kurt Stenberg running the early 2000s HRT livery on that Trans-Tasman Racing machine. He is still in the hunt for the championship. Let's see what he can do on this qualifying lap. He set a 1 minute 18.4 to get into the session as he rides the curb on the exit of pit lane to try and open up the run through turns 1 and 2. Uses the curb again at turn 3. We've seen him wipe the wall at turn 3 a few times in practice, but stays off at this time. and looks to be a little more settled. Oh, I was about to say a little more settled, but the rear end was very happy to step out there through turn 5, but he's up by a 10th on Curtis Egmanis through turn 1, through sector 1.
Not quite as clean across that curb as you would have liked, I think. The run down to turn 8.
Let's see his run through turn 8. Barely a lift.
He's definitely hit the wall.
But he scrapes away and keeps it all together. And into turn 9, we'll see the sector time. We're expecting something wonderful here, and it is a 53.8 to the second sector. Half a second up on Turmo's time.
Jeez, yeah, he's going for it here. But you feel like there's a couple of little mistakes he's made are going to cost him once the big guns... Oh, that's not a good line.
He lost the rear on the curb at turn 13 and had to gather it all up. So lost maybe a little bit of time here.
Still 8/10 of a second faster.
And faster than his qualifying time as well. So even with those little mistakes, he was able to stitch together a lap that is good enough for the moment for the provisional pole position.
It's a good effort. I think the next couple at least will definitely struggle to match that one, as the track is starting to rubber up a little bit as well. It's improved by about 50% from what it was at the start.
Is that like a number that you can see, or are you just making that up?
It's a number you can see. There's you can access some information in the in one of the menus, and it's like an alternate menu. Shows you their RPM, what gear they're in, their throttle percentage, and all that. Oh my goodness, his throttle percentage. Oh, he's in the wall. His throttle percentage went 0-100, 0-100 quite a lot there.
Yeah, I bet. As he's slung his way through the center chicane and into the East Terrace staircase. And let's see the sector time, and we don't get a sector time, so he's put a he's grabbed a track cut, unfortunately, for McMillan. So let's see if we can have a bit of a look at what happened to him on that on the intro to that lap, because that was just a wild ride. As we're just watching him through, we watch him finish off this lap because you know, it's the nice thing to do.
Yeah, see, it's not going to give him a time here, so he's definitely starting from... Well, I'm assuming he'll start from 10th, or will he'll be 9th, because Sykes will be behind him, won't he?
Yes.
He also didn't... Because he's going to pit, yeah.
Yeah. So, while he pits, let's have a look.
He's destroyed a cone as well.
Let's have a look at that run through turns 1 and 2. Oops. And we'll slow it down here, because you can see he's over the curb.
They're a long way away from redemption there.
So he's got the track cut there. It's unsettled over the curb, and then he's tried to catch it, and it's going to spit him sideways as it grips up.
Luckily, the corner's already going that way, which was handy.
Yeah.
But then he
did it again.
Lost it again. Which is not ideal.
No, not at all. Here we go with Colin Warwick. Oh, and I've still got that one. Sorry. Colin Warwick now will be looking to improve on his lap time. He got a 1:18.1, so it's quite an impressive lap time, but he'll have to replicate something similar to that if he wants to overthrow Kurt Stenberg at the top of this shootout session.
Yeah, you feel like Stenberg's always got a bit in the tank when it comes to that. Maybe not so much for Colin Warwick. We'll see how he goes. Fires it into... Oh, that's going to be a track cut, surely. That was quite over the... All four wheels off the... off of the track there. We'll see as we come up to the first timing sector to see if anything pops up, but I feel like this one might be invalidated.
And yeah, nothing came up that time either. So another track cut in this session, and that will be another driver relegated to the back of the grid.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Colin. He'll be, I mean, he will be ahead of McMillan though, so it's starting from 8th, which isn't too bad, honestly. Could be worse.
And
He'll be disappointed though, considering how he qualified versus where he's going to be after the shootout.
Indeed. While this is happening, though, we do just get a nice look at that beautiful tribute livery to the number 51 Greg Murphy Kmart car, and I guess that's why we had a question why Turmo isn't using the 51. I guess this is why. So what we'll do is we'll have a replay. We'll slow it down, and you can see, yeah, clearly all four wheels over the curb, and that was enough for him to be disqualified from practice. Well, disqualified from practice. Yeah, removed from the session to get the curb strike. So unfortunate, but that was we flagged at the beginning of the shootout. That's something that can happen. That's something you've got to keep an eye on.
You gotta be careful, and now's where it gets interesting because now we have the big hitters, and we know Stenberg's got a 118.2, and we know we've seen low 17s from these top three. So, how cautious do they be going into this first chicane? You see, Ethan's already attacking this final corner, but yeah, you need to attack to beat the other two, but you also need to not give yourself a track cut. So, see how he goes. Let's have a look as we come through turns one. Oh, that was mighty close. We'll see what it comes up as when we go through to the first sector. He's fishtailing it into turn 4 on the brakes as well. I mean, if anyone knows the limits, it's Ethan Warren.
And we'll see if we get a sector time. We do. It's at 21.8, a massive first sector, 0.4 faster than Kurt Stenberg as we go through
look
7.
Across the curbs here. I mentioned it earlier, but look at this. They know it's going to grip, so they fire it across with so much confidence and hug this wall all the way down.
Let's see how close he gets to the wall through turn 8. Oh, just a little bit of a breath. And braking hard for turn 9. All the way down to first gear. Runs the curve on the exit slightly. And almost a full second up on the competition through to turn 9. Wonderful stuff from Ethan Warren.
Look how close he gets to the wall there as well. It's absolutely perfect.
Immaculate from Ethan Warren as he comes into the final corner. We'll see the lap time as it comes up. And it is a 17.1. Wow.
A full second faster than Stenberg. What a absolute lap. And on a one lap shootout as well. That is brilliant. That's going to take some beating from the other two.
That was faster than his lap in qualifying. That was faster than Dane Warren's lap in qualifying as well. That is an immaculate lap from Ethan Warren.
I mean, it's almost faster than Rosella's lap as well. And like that's, yeah, for a one lap shootout. Admittedly, qualifying beforehand is almost a one lap shootout, but you do get 2 bites of the cherry if you need it. And to do it on a single lap is something else.
Yeah, that is absolutely wild. So Ethan has laid down the gauntlet to his brother Dane, who is just coming through to start his lap now. We'll watch Dane through the final sector from above. How cool is that camera shot, by the way?
Yeah, I like that one. Sort of like super high crane shot.
And he's taking...
It gives you... Yeah, look at that. It's a very clever... It's a good way to get some extra speed through the corner there. Haven't seen anyone else do that so far.
We'll see whether or not that pays off. That was very untidy through the first sector for the center chicane for Dane.
It looks fast though.
It does indeed as we come through. Oh, a little bit. He had to take 2 bites at it to get through turn 4. And now into turn 5. Runs that curb. And we'll see a sector time here. And he's up. He's up by a 10th.
Yeah, he's just throwing it through. There's so much speed being carried at the apex that you really notice the difference between these top 3. That they're just, at every apex, they're taking phenomenal speed. It just seems like the car's always going to end up in the wall on the outside, but somehow it grips. So you could not fit a piece of paper between the wall on the entrance and exit there.
Crazy stuff from Dane Warren as he comes through turn 9.
Still a 10th and a half up. It's his lap to lose now.
And we've been saying that about Dane this whole season, that it's been his to lose. And blimey, he's certainly throwing it all on the line as he chatters his way into the final corner, comes down.
It's quite frankly unfair.
Down the main straight, let's see the lap time. It's a 16.8!
Jesus Christ.
A 16!
16.8. 0.3 of a second ahead of his brother. Just like anything you can do, I can do better. I thought that Ethan had very close to a perfect lap, but just Dane was like, oh, you've left 5 millimeters? Well, I'm only going to leave 1 millimeter.
My word.
You're going to wait a meter to get on the throttle. I'm going to wait 99 centimeters. And just those little bits and pieces have added up to a just freakish lap.
My word, 16, the first 16 of the night. Let's see if there's any response that we can get from Luke Rosella, because that was an absolutely cracking lap from Dane Warren. Here we go for Rosella then. As we come into the first sector, we said that Dane looked a bit messy. That looks very smooth for Rosella. And a little unsettled on the front under brakes for 4, but he gets it all turned nicely.
This thing, smooth is usually fast. We'll see as we come through the first sector though. Is it? Oh, it's close.
It's very close. 32 thousandths of a second between the pair of them as Luke bounds over the exit curb through turn 7.
He's taken a longer line there, but a lot faster line. So it'll be interesting to see how that translates.
Oh, sideways through turn 8. That was incredible. He's managed to reel it all back in, but that was out of control through turn 8. Wonderful stuff. Let's see if that's reflected in the lap time. Still a 10th.
Cost him some time.
Still a 10th that Rosella has to find. He's gone wide at turn 11. Just manages to keep it off the wall. We've got the final little bit of track left for Rosella. As he comes in, he's a bit sideways, he's a bit chattery on the front brakes, but we'll see the lap time for Rosella. It's going to be 16.8, remind you, to get
Probably
the
going to be
pole
second,
position.
I think.
And he's third.
He's not quite got it. He's third. Yeah, that little wall clip coming out of 11 cost him. It seemed like he felt like that lap was getting away from him. The first sector was close, but then as it came down the second sector, he just wasn't using quite as much road. And then it seemed like when he saw that second sector time, might have demoralized him a bit, and it got away from him. As we see the replay of him coming through turn 8, he gets, that's an acre of space compared to when Dane Warren was going through, honestly. But then you see the back just starts to kick out just a little bit.
It's because he got the curb. Look at how much curb he got.
There's a lot of curb there.
Oh, look at that.
waiting for it to stop, Please don't hit the wall. And just like it was good, but it wasn't fast. Yeah, he managed to keep the lap together for third though. But that means it's going to be an all Warren front row with Dane Warren absolutely setting the pace, 0.3 up on the rest of the field on a single lap. Just absolutely, there are not enough superlatives to come up with how good that lap was. But really, it's just regular old Dane Warren. It exemplifies what he's like in this series.
It was
absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely wonderful from Warren there to set a 16, the fastest lap of the weekend in the shootout. That was immaculate. It was unfathomable the pace that he was able to extract from that car. What a qualifying session. So to recap you on the grid, it will be Dane Warren from Ethan Warren at the head of the field. Luke Rosella will come through in third ahead of Kurt Stenberg. Termo in fifth, Chris Ireland in sixth, RSM Latino, and then we had no laps set from Aiden Sykes or Thomas McMillan. Or I think, who was the last one? It was Colin Warwick as well. So they will fill the last 3 slots on the grid for this upcoming 30-lap race with 2 compulsory pit stops. We might remind everyone of. So quite a complicated picture that we will paint around the Adelaide Parkland circuit in just a moment's time.
Yes, indeed.
I still can't get over that slide from Luke Rosella though. That was crazy.
Oh, it was very well held. It's one of those things where it's looks cool. Unfortunately, not fast.
No, unfortunately not. Yeah, So what else is going on in the world of ASC and supercars at the moment that we can talk about while we're filling time waiting for race 1 to start?
It's one of those things we're not as finger on the pulse as Madbird and Stairs usually are when it comes to what's going on.
Normally at this point, Madbird and Stairs would just be talking about something off topic, like, I don't know, flight sim or other stupid things, or dabbing on the webcam.
Well, so I should have connected my webcam so we could have some dabs, but wait, that sounds like I'm just talking about drugs now. Anyway, it's what off-topic thing do you have that we can discuss?
Well, I mean,
in this time,
I can talk about something that's kind of half on topic, and that was that I was
even better.
I was at the Adelaide 500 last weekend. I was marshalling at turn 5, and that was a fun time, and I didn't get sunburnt, which was amazing.
Yes, we're wearing proper hat and sun protection, I presume. Slip, slop, slap.
Slip, slop,
so
and
you can
slap.
Slide.
We were actually very lucky at turn 5. We had the a massive gum tree just literally above us.
It's a very nice spot.
Yeah. So
you can go onto the track and show us where you were. That can be a on topic thing. You can go into the track camera and show us where you were standing.
Okay, let me just find it on my other camera on the other screen. Here we go. So
you get a Zalavari eye view with the camera.
Okay, so we'll how am I going to do this? We'll pretend it's a practice session. There we go. So that was we're looking at where I was standing. If we zoom in, and I'll just move the thing around, where that little guardrail is on the end, that's where the marshal post is. So that's where I would have been standing. So just to the left there. And I'll see if I can actually find a way to bring up the other side as well. So we can have a look. Okay, here we go. So this is the camera post at turn 5. It's basically exactly above us. So there's actually a crane. So here, that's the marshal post in there. And so this is our little view. We had one person looking down that way for anything that was spinning out of turn 4, and trust me, there was plenty. And then we had one person looking this way for anything that was going to spin into turn 6, and trust me, there was plenty.
Definitely kept busy all through the weekend with all the different series and such.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, definitely an excellent place to be. Get good front row seats. So if you're thinking about marshalling,
yeah,
definitely do it.
Absolutely, it was quite a lot of fun. The interesting thing is though, is that you kind of lose context for what's happening. So on the Saturday race, we were just in a little bit of a switchover. So you don't tend to flag or do communications for the whole race on Sunday or Saturday because it's a long one. So we were swapping people around, swapping personnel around when we had the Cam Waters incident happen, like right in front of us. Cam Waters and Todd Hazelwood. But because we were in the middle of a swap, no one had actually seen the contact between Waters and Hazelwood. We just kind of saw Hazelwood fire off into the tyre fence and then Brown collect him. So we, of course, when there's an incident, you got to write a report that gets sent up to race control, so that way they have paperwork for it in case they want to penalise anyone. But I was the only one who actually saw how it started, so I was tasked with doing that. And by the time I finished, it was like, okay, cars are just kind of going around. I have no idea what's happening now.
Yeah, it's basically cars have crashed.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it was one of those things that, you look at the track and you go, okay, so I think Mostert's the leader, but how in hell did Percat come in second place? Where's Van Gisbergen? Oh, he crashed around the other side of the circuit. Where's Waters? Where's all these other cars? What's the order? What's the shape of the race? You just don't know. So Stairs, while he was coming over yesterday to set a few things up for me, he was ripping into me for rewatching the weekend, being like, oh, weren't you there? I'm like, mate, I have no idea what happened.
Exactly, you have a very narrow view of what's happening and you've got to focus on that. You can't really be preoccupied with things that are happening elsewhere, can you?
And as that's exactly right. Now, this was our view for the whole. Whoops! Oh, what did I do? Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. This was our view for the whole weekend. This is all we saw. We saw that and we saw that. That was it. That was we didn't see anything else. We didn't know anything else that was happening around the track beyond what was being told to us over the communications array. It was just we were looking that way and we were looking that way, and that was it. But it was still an awesome weekend.
Yeah, no, it's well, that's the thing. It's sort of you focus on your bit, you get to do stuff there, and you get to have the joy of a job well done, and you still get. It's still quite cool being that close to all these cars and getting to interact directly with them and such.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
and it's not just the V8s as well. You've got the Super 2s and 3s. You've got the Aussie racing cars. You've got the classics as well.
And at the moment, we have the Automobilista Supercars around the Adelaide street circuit. Of course, turns 1, 2, and 3 make up the centre chicane, up the top of Wakefield Street into turn 4, through the staircase and the East Terrace, and then that long run down towards the fearsome turn 8. Then we've got that race, that record, based on what we saw in the shootout, it might go tonight. Previous pole sitters, Dane Warren, and you can add Dane Warren again to that list as we have the finale of the season. We'll see whether or not Ethan Warren or Kurt Stenberg can get one over Dane for the championship, because of course that is on the line tonight, as everyone is slowly making their way back onto the grid. Bagsy, what are predictions for tonight? What do you reckon?
Yeah, we've got.
There we go.
There we go. The one prediction that you can usually make, safe as houses prior to this year and the inevitable recession that's going to happen with the rising interest rates, is that Dane Warren will his kryptonite occasionally. So we'll see how things go as the cars make their way off the grid.
Here we go. Sorry, this switching box thing has been my kryptonite at the moment. Okay, so where are we? Here we go. Dane Warren leads us away on the start of the grid, ahead of Ethan Warren. There was a cracking lap from Dane in the shootout to usurp Ethan, who set a 17-1 himself. Luke Rosella fell apart from him in the final sector. He sits in third, ahead of Kurt Stenberg in fourth place. 3 of the championship protagonists in the top 4, so that will be very exciting, very energized top end of the race. Turmo with a good lap to start in 5th place, ahead of Chris Ireland, who set a good lap in qualifying to place 6th. RSM Latino will start from 7th place, gaining a few positions after qualifying in 10th, thanks to track cuts in the shootout for Colin Warwick, Thomas McMillan, and Aiden Sykes, and that completes the top 10, Bagsy.
Sorry, I'm just having my own technical difficulties. Come be back with you momentarily.
Okay, we'll continue with the grid. Steve Warwick just missed the shootout after his final lap was usurped by Aiden Sykes, so he will start from 11th. Kai Jones will start from 12th place in the number 6 privateer entry. Michael Pollard in the Norton Racing 16 car will start from 13th. Good to have Michael Pollard in the series. Looks like he's been doing very well lately. Zach Baker, this was a story from qualifying, did not set a lap time. Was unfortunate enough to hit a curb strike on each of his flying laps, and then ran it wide in turn 7 rather, on his last roll of the dice. Peter Stenberg, Steny, will start from 15 in the Steny Racing Team car, another tribute livery to Holden. Brandon Dostal in the number 76 in the privateer entry, nice looking car there. And then Lockie Burke rounds out the tail of the field with the number 17 car. It looks like he's actually dropped off the tail a little bit, but that is your 17 car field for this race. And Bagsy, as they grid up, have a look at that. Is that not just quite a sight?
Absolutely beautiful. For those of you wondering, the championship picture, Dane basically just has to beat Stenberg to the end of this race to win. Realistically, all he needs is third. Anything lower, and with Kurt winning, it goes to another race.
The revs rise, the horns are on, And we're away, and it looked like a great start once again for Ethan Warren and Kurt Stenberg actually with a cracking start, but nowhere to go as they fire into the first chicane, and it's Ethan Warren around the outside, and he's going to take the lead into turn 1.
Yeah, good start from Ethan Warren. We said Dane Warren's kryptonite was his starts, and it's happened again. Kurt, but with a brilliant start also, and he's getting straight onto his mission of getting past Warren and getting to the front of this race.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They all fire out. Oh, curb turbos into the wall into Thomas McMillan. They managed to sneak out the other side, but that was very complicated. But at the front as well, we've got actions. It's Dane Warren versus Ethan Warren down the main straight, and Dane's gone past him.
Yeah, we missed how that happened. I think Ethan might have gone wide there, but yeah. So going to turn 8 for the first time, that's well ahead for Ethan. For Dane, sorry.
A few tags on the wall in the background as they come into turn 9. It's nose to tail on this front group. It's, as Madbird would say, nuts to butts. But if you have a look in the background of this shot, you can see that Colin Warwick is also tacked onto the back of this group. And this has been a chaotic start for the first race here in Adelaide.
Absolutely, and in the background you might have seen Lockie Baker getting absolutely all about it in the background, but as Ethan is harassing Dane Warren, he'll be spitting chips that he missed out. Dane Warren leads the first lap after his not so good start.
1, 2, 3, 4. They bound over that curve in the centre chicane. And a little bit more going on back through the field as well, but we're focused on this at the front. Dane versus Ethan, it has been the story of the season so far. The two brothers have been immaculate and have been the true energizers of these races, but when Dane has gotten in front, he has run away with it. Now let's see if Ethan can keep it, just keep Dane in check. Remember, we've got two compulsory pit stops in this race as well.
I think to keep in mind is that Ethan is still in with a chance of this championship, but his chances pretty much hinge on Dane not finishing the race. So it's one of those things where Ethan wants to get past. He doesn't really care how careful he is about doing it, because it ending poorly for Dane is still good for him.
Oh, and this is a willing battle on the exit of turn 11. It's, Rosella and Stenberg. Rosella across the curb, jumped into Stenberg effectively. Now they're going to go side by side into the final corner. The inside line for Stenberg will just hold Rosella out to dry as they come down the main straight now.
Yeah, it's very well defended there from Kurt Stenberg, but Rosella is right on him. He's probably going to have a think up into turn 4 if he can manage to stay close. But that is, he's just gone for it out of the chicane. My goodness. Right into the rear. So we're on board with Colin Warwick, who boosts him past. Is he going to make the corner? He has. Oh, look at that. They're side by side again. Oh, what a view we've got here. And Kurt Stenberg has lost the position after Warwick's given an impromptu bump draft to Luke Rosella coming out of turn 3.
I think that's like an involuntary shove there, an involuntary boost. I have no idea how Rosella was able to pull that up, because there was no way on earth he was looking like he was going to make that corner, but somehow he did, and somehow he's actually managed to keep that position, but not for long though.
He caught the wall a little bit in turn 8, so Stenberg easy pass down the side there. And how Warwick's like, I did help you before, but, you know, it was sort of an enemy of my enemy situation, and now you're just my enemy.
Yeah, they've been plenty of enemies of each other throughout the season. As Rosella goes to the inside, Kurt tries to cover. He gets Rosella right up on the curb. It's right out sideways for Stenberg as well. This is cracking stuff.
There's no love lost between these two at the moment, hey. Old mate Warwick is just thinking about it, but he's not. It doesn't seem like he's quite got the pace. It's sort of more these two holding each other up through their battle than him being on the pace at the moment. But he's definitely been a contributing factor in this, because they're feeling the pressure of him being right behind, caused by their own fighting.
And that's the thing, of course. Once you once you're looking in your mirrors, you're not really looking ahead. And what it is doing is it's just allowing Thomas McMillan to just tack onto the back of this group, as well as just letting our top two just roar away at the front. So if we have a look, just as they swing their way through turn 8, have a look at where our top two are. They're going through turn 11 already, so they've already broken out to a 7-second advantage over the rest of the field. 7 seconds. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and they're still fighting each other as well. It's not like they're doing this, you know, just being all nice to each other. They've been going hammer and tongs the whole time.
And I wonder now whether or not someone will take the opportunity to jump into the pits and start the pit sequence, try and get out of one of these trains and see if they can get a little bit of clear track. Oh, we've got a DNF. It looks like Pollard, and we did just see Steve Warwick through the pits, but he's actually just picked up a drive-through penalty, and I suspect that must be for pit lane speeding. Although he's down 3 laps, so I'm not sure what's going on there.
Yeah, it's quite strange.
So we'll try and have a quick figure out of what happened to Pollard.
Yeah, as we come into turn 8 yet again, still Ethan following Dane as they just... You swear they're on qualifying laps at the moment as well. They just... Oh, there's a big lock up there for Dane Warren. Ethan goes up the inside. Is he going to make it stick? Not quite. Dane managed to trail break that quite nicely. Keeps the momentum going, but... Little cracks. Oh, as Ethan's gone wide to turn 11, he's lost a lot of time there. That's gone suddenly blown out from half a second to 2 seconds.
And it all was one little mistake there, and that's all it took. So it looks like actually Pollard pulled into the pits under his own steam and went into the garage. So I'm not sure what's happened there, whether or not there was contact earlier or something along those lines. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly what's happened to Pollard. He was trailing at the back of the field, so I'm not sure. Oh, he had a moment in turn 1. So
okay.
So let's see if we can actually have a look at this. So here we go. We were running down the main straight with Trent Allen on our outside.
He says a lot of battling down the field that we're sort of missing a little. Yeah. Oh, he's round.
So this was what happened to Pollard.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Been caught by that one before. So that's what happened there to Pollard. Sorry, Bagsy.
No, that's all good. I was looking at. I'm usually have 3 screens going. I'm working off of 1 at the moment, and I've got your view, I've got my view, and I'm trying to like have the points up in the same time in live time. It's quite hectic.
Yeah, so these are some of the smaller little battles that are going on around the field. We've got Kurt Stenberg, who's dropped off the tail of Luke Rosella a little bit, but he's still got Colin Warwick for company. Just behind that, we've got Zach Baker on the tail of Chris Ireland, so that's an interesting battle to keep track of as well between those 2 runners. And then this is Trent Allen and Brandon Dostal. Is Brandon Dostal just exit stage left?
Oh, and Lockie Burke's gone off as well. He's decided that he wants to join him.
Going off in sympathy. Oh, we've got a DNF as well. We've got a yellow flag. There's been a major bust-up in... What's going on here? There's been a major bust-up in the in turn 4. I'm not exactly sure what's happened because the camera angle hasn't been kind to us, but it looks like... Who was that in the back? Was that Sykes, maybe? Or was it Burke? I'm trying to see times again. That's a safety car. We've got safety car. Chaos here. We had cars around. It's going to take us a little while to figure out what's actually happened. But I did see for a moment Thomas McMillan sideways, and we've got here now Trent Allen sideways as well.
So McMillan's out as well. McMillan and Turmo out. Allen was spun to his side. I think Sykes was fine. But yeah, we've got a safety car now.
Okay,
so let's see if we can find out what happened.
Okie dokie. So this is going to take a little bit to unpack. Sorry, guys. We'll do our very, very best to figure out. Okay, so this is what I think I found what's happened. Yeah, okay. So let's... Oops, no. Oh, I've just messed it up. Hang on. Wait.
As you find that, I'll radio show what's going on. We've basically had a flurry of pit stops. Everyone's come in. Ethan Warren has come out ahead of Dane Warren after the pit stops. RSM Latino has stayed out, so there's an interesting strategy from our friend RSM Latino. We'll see if that pays off for him. But yeah, the shake-up of the pit stops is Ethan Warren is now in net first place, followed by Dane. Then Rosella, Colin Warwick, Aiden Sykes, and Kurt Stenberg, the big loser, down in 7th now, effectively 6th.
So this is what's happened. This is what started it off. So Thomas McMillan has come out of turn 3 and has just come across Peter Stenberg just in the wrong spot. Now, this kept going. McMillan has then gassed it up, spun out. That was the battle that we saw between Chris and Zach Baker. And then here comes, and we've got Trent Allen drive-through penalty. That will be pit lane speeding. Here comes Trent Allen. And this is the next section we saw. So McMillan has rear tire, rear tire punctures, and then that was it.
Just slot the gap there.
I'm not sure.
What happened to Turmo and all that? So it was Kai Jones who shot that gap there, but yeah, what happened to Turmo?
I'm not sure. I think that was another thing. Oh, and in fact, you know how he said RSM Latino had stayed out?
He's come in.
He's come in now.
He will. I guess he was near the back, so he's avoiding all the chaos that happens in the pit lane, and so he's probably going to come out net. Not so bad.
Not so bad. Let's see what that front group looks like now. It is Ethan Warren from Dane Warren. You called that correctly, Bagsy. That's a big move there in the pit sequence. And then Luke Rosella, Colin Warwick, Aiden Sykes, Kurt Stenberg down in 6th. Zach Baker, Chris Ireland, RSM Latino, Kai Jones. And then Lockie Burke, RSM Latino, still in the pit lane, I suspect. Oh no, the gap's coming down now, so he's out of the pits. Brandon Dostal and Trent Allen. Steve Warwick down 1 lap, but already 4 DNFs. Thomas McMillan, Turmo, Stenny, and Michael Pollard. So Stenny and McMillan we saw. Turmo, it looks like, I've just found what's happened to him. It looks like he had disconnects. So unfortunate for Turmo.
That's unfortunate.
So quite an invigorated start to this race.
Indeed, and yeah, lots of back and forth. We've now had both Warrens have led multiple laps now. And yeah, the field is all being compressed again, so we'll see what happens, because yeah, there is there's still a lot to play for here. We know Ethan's incentivized to hold up Dane and have him battle with Rosella and try and affect his race, because he needs him to DNF essentially, which is not something you really want to wish upon your brother and presumably friend. But in this case, if you want to win the championship, you sort of need the bad luck to strike in.
And it looks like we are going green for a safety car restart this time around. We've got a 10-second stop and go penalty for Stephen Warwick. That will be for being out of line. But very soon we'll be back underway. Ethan Warren leads the field away. Everyone's done at least one pit stop as we come into turn 1. And looks like everyone's
quiet way apart from Stenberg and Sykes. Stenberg just gives a little hip and shoulder to Sykes on the way through into turn 4, where they make it through relatively cleanly. Oh, Lockie Burke though got into the back of him.
And here is that little battle at the tail end of the field. Sykes, Chris Ireland, and then that is Warwick, who's a lap down, remember, thanks to all of the shenanigans early on. Let's see, cold tyres, remember, through turn 8. They've been under the safety car. Will they sneak their way through? Oh, who was that? That was Kai Jones who made contact with the wall. As we've got moves on here, Ireland through on Sykes, and he gets that one done. That hangs Sykes high and wide. This could get very complicated very quickly as they go through turns 10 and 11. Sykes moves to cover and will, for the moment, hold on to 8th place. Here's the battle out in front once again between the Warrens. And fastest lap now for Ethan Warren, a 17.3. As it kept going between Sykes, he got forced out onto the grass. And now he's got Stenberg and sorry, not Stenberg, Warwick and Kai Jones for company.
Definitely hit the wall there from Sykes.
The Sykes car doesn't look settled at all. I wonder if there's a problem with his new set of tyres, or maybe they're off pressure, or he didn't change tyres.
He and Baker definitely had a bit of, him and Lockie Burke, I should say, definitely had a bit of contact and a bit of wall rubbing there. So I think that might be a bit of damage to him. It was Trent Allen, the drive-through penalty, I think, for track cuts probably.
Yeah, that's very early on to be already getting track cuts. I wonder whereabouts Allen is on track.
Oh no, I think that might be pit lane because he's a fair way behind RSM Latino to the tune. He's 30 seconds off the lead.
We're going to spin at turn 7. Turn 9 rather. And it was Warwick, and he's just managed to hold it, but look at it in the background, it's gone, and Johnston's gone around and into the wall, and he's been collected by Kai Jones. Absolute carnage.
He's got it going again though, but geez, that was disastrous from there. As we watch the replay, here's where it all started. You can see, so Sykes has been slow and absolutely fired up the inside there, lost it a little bit, and now he's slow, and then just pinches in between there. 3 wide does not work there, my friends. Around he goes, spins round, Kai Jones gets hit again, both sides, just double pinching.
Oh, and we've got another accident that's just happened. This is Steve Warwick, and I think that might be day done for Steve Warwick, who has gone off. Let's have a look at what happened. So Steve Warwick, remember in all of this, Steve Warwick is a lap down as well. So he should...
And this is a continuation of what was happening before as well. Oh yeah, he's just that's a big hit. That's probably day done, or at least race done for so far. He's still out there, I think. Oh no, he's off.
he's not
out
anymore.
He's DNF.
So somehow we're still green after all of that malarkey, and it is still...
Everyone's been crashing quite nicely and carefully.
Carefully crashing, I love it. So we have Ethan Warren still at the head of the field. Again, setting the fastest lap of the race, the 3rd lap in a row that he has set the fastest lap. And look at how much room, how much track he's taking through the centre chicane to try and keep that gap. Only half a second over his brother Dane.
You'd swear that the two of them have some illegal add-on that just shows them exactly where the track cut line is, because they just flirt with it so much and somehow don't get track cuts for it.
It's honestly kind of amazing in a little bit of a scary way. And these guys already have a 3-second gap over Luke Rosella, who's sitting in 3rd. And then Colin Warwick and Kurt Stenberg, who were a further 3 and 4 seconds back respectively. Besides these two, this is the closest battle on track. This is Chris Ireland holding off Lockie Burke through turn 8. And this is... Lockie got a great run through there, and Burke's going to go down the inside. He's fired it in, but he hasn't really done it with any sort of conviction. And he was lucky that Chris gave him a bit of room there. So that's now Burke up into 7th and Chris Ireland down into 8th place.
Burke really didn't look that confident on the brakes there in comparison, but luckily for him, Ireland was a willing partner and probably gave him a bit more leeway than he really needed to, honestly. But, you know, it's what's done is done. As we've got Kai Jones, who's being followed. Oh, he's being passed. Oh my goodness!
What a move from Cuz Bearing-Weller there from RSM Latino. But the switchback's
coming back though. Yeah, Kai's like, okay, whatever, I don't care. See you later. Can't do that again down this way. I'm just gonna skedaddle on past, and there we go. He's actually gained a fair bit of time for that chicane too. It's quite well done from him.
That was a little bit of magic there from Kai Jones after a spontaneous move from RSM Latino.
Something to note, Zach Baker started 17th or 18th, I think. Maybe 15th. But he's up to 6th now. That's an excellent climb from him so far, and he's only a few seconds off Kurt Stenberg.
And I reckon just as you said that, he wiped the turn 8 wall. But luckily still going for Zach Baker. He's now just behind... as you made mention, Kurt Stenberg. As we're watching this battle between the two leaders, Dane Warren and Ethan Warren, that is now only 3/10 this time around, because Dane Warren set a 17.2 last lap to take, to cut that gap down by 0.3, and that's the sort of margins we're talking about here. 0.3 at the head of the field, but it's less than that now. It's effectively bumper to bumper as they go through the staircase down East Terrace.
Nuts to butts.
Nuts to butts. See, even though Mad Bird isn't here in commentary, he is here in spirit.
His spirit is working through us.
That was a great run that time around for Dane, and it looks like he's got a face full of his brother's rear bumper at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know how he sees how to turn into the corners here as he gets a little bit of the wall there, but he is going for it. No, he's not. Just a cheeky look. Just a little bump to remind him, say hello, hi, still here.
Just in case you'd forgotten about me.
Dane doesn't need to take this position to win the championship as well. He is 100% fine to just follow Ethan home, but he doesn't want to do that.
That's not fun.
He doesn't want to do that.
This the inside.
Dane is saying, Ethan, there is mandatory fun to be had. And it's going to be me trying to pass you here. He doesn't quite pull it off, but Ethan was wise to it and kept it tidy. Didn't worry. And along they go. Oh, Dane's got to have a go up here into turn 4, doesn't he? Let's see how he goes. Hard on the brakes. Nope. Not
that
able to do anything there.
He's really working the rear of Ethan's car quite hard through this section of track, making sure to use all the curb and a bit more than all the curb. And again, through turn 7, gets right up onto the tail. A little bit of respite this time though. Ethan got a much better run through 7 than Dane did that time around. So there's actually 3 or 4 car lengths that that he has in his back pocket. Oh, big hit on the wall for both of them though.
Yeah, that's where they're getting all their speed from.
Using the absolute limit of the track limits.
They're just constant, isn't it? And the thing is, we were also coming up on pit stops soon as well, because lap 9, when they all came in, and there's still one more compulsory pit stop to do. It's sort of trying to figure out the best time and place to take it.
Absolutely right. So we're just on half race distance now. So we've got another 15 laps at the end of this one as they come through to start laps. Oh, sorry, they've just finished lap 16 rather. As that's surely another track cut for Dane Warren, and he must have 2 or 3 of those now. As they come through the S's.
We go just looking up at track starting to rubber in a bit more as well, so they're starting to get.
A car off in the gravel at turn, or the gravel off the grass at turn 14, and it's gone around. It's Kai Jones.
He almost kept it going in the right direction, and a nice drift there, but didn't quite make it. So that car is quite dented on both sides from various instances it's had, as Brandon Dostal gets a drive-through penalty.
Yeah, and Brandon was just in that battle with Kai Jones, and we're just watching the replay now. Just a little wide through turn 13, trying not to run into the back of Brandon Dostal. And that was...
Guessing that was track cuts for Dostal then.
Most likely.
On when it came up.
I was watching that on the timing screens, just sort of having a look at some of the other battles, and did see them swap positions. I didn't expect it to be that vigorous when we cut to it.
Baker and Lockie Burke is probably going to start heating up in a second. They're quite close, and Burke's been charging quite a bit.
Oh, speak of the devil!
That's the second time we've done that. Left and right.
Left, right, and centre as well. That's crazy. So yeah, Lockie Burke. That was just a second ago. They were very close proximity, but yeah, just as we caught it, he collected the tyre barrier at 11 and dropped a few seconds away.
Let's see how well this works. Dane Warren is guaranteed to win the championship this race. Expecting his computer just to explode. As
both Baker and Burke crash their way through the centre chicane, we'll leave them there, and let's see if Bagsy's magic powers come to eventuate. And
it is a bit off the pace, honestly, compared to the last lap, so maybe it's had a mild effect. Because he's almost a second back on Ethan now. And
that just goes to show just how high quality their racing has been all season. The fact that we're umming and ahhing about a second gap between the pair of them. It just goes to show just how good they are.
Might as well be a lap.
It's the biggest gap between them the whole season.
Just an absolute clinic of driving. It's we've seen in the real life V8s Shane Van Gisbergen putting on many clinics, but it does it in comparison. It's the V8 Supercar season's been a lot closer than this season has with how good the Warrens are.
This is true. It's been just kind of ridiculous. The Warrens have been this far ahead the whole way around. Like, even the fact that Dane Warren wasn't even committed to the Bathurst 1000 until the very last minute because he didn't really want to race, but he wanted to stay in contact with the championship and made that his team name for Thomas McMillan. And then they just went ahead and won the race. Like, that's crazy.
It's the way to go about it, isn't it? It's like, oh yeah, I guess we should probably do this. And yeah, I mean, the championship looks a lot different if he didn't compete in that. Yeah, it was 300 points basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it probably would have made the championship a lot closer here, but it would have put Stenberg in the box seat instead.
Yeah, and that would have been a fascinating storyline. But alas, we'd only have the storyline that we've got right now. So let's have a look a little bit of the storyline of this race so far, as we've got just some back markers coming through turn 1, and there is our lead battle, Ethan Warren from Dane Warren, 1 and 2. We should see Luke Rosella just peek his head over the crest. There he is. So that's the gap between second and third. Next will be Colin Warwick. Yes, Bagsy.
Yeah, Colin Warwick and Stenberg are quite close together now, and Burke and Baker, I think, just
they're all just in the pits. Well,
that's why. That
scuppered my little update, didn't it? How dare they? How dare they do something so...
I think Stenberg might have got... Stenberg had to wait. He's had to wait for... Who was that? I think...
Chris Ireland.
Yeah, Chris Ireland. So that's unfortunate for him there. It's probably cost him a little bit of time there. But the thing that this does is that this opens up for Dane and Ethan as they're coming up to Sykes to lap him. This opens up a large gap for them to pit into. So fully expect to see them in this lap because A, it means they don't have to pass Sykes, and B, they're not going to get held up by traffic behind them. So let's see what happens. I'll keep an eye on the pit lane.
Yeah, here we go. Yep, Ethan Warren in, Dane Warren in as well. And let's see, does Luke Rosella join them? Here comes Rosella. Yes, he's in as well.
So yeah, that's just good smart strategy right there. You're coming up on a lap marker, but everyone else is pit behind you, so you've got the gap. Might as well go for it.
We're just going to have a quick look at what's happened here for Aiden Sykes. I caught this on the other screen just scrolling through the field, and you would have heard me protesting in the background. Have a look at this. Whoa!
Oh my goodness. In the pit stops, Ethan's lost a little bit of time, but he's still come out ahead of Dane. But Dane was very much at his rear quarter panel, ready to go. But battle resumes now. Both have made their compulsory pit stops. And we have 9 laps to go.
What's the expression Stairs likes to use? Second verse, same as the first, except this is more like the 48th verse.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ethan did gain a lot more time after that first set of pit stops, though, under the safety car. Like, he was a good second and a half behind, and got ahead. So yeah, now it's just all about keeping ahead for the last little bit. Dane will want to win the championship with a race win, I'm sure, but Ethan's going to do everything he can, because Ethan's doing everything he needs to do, everything he can do to try and keep this going. It's probably going to require an act of providence for him to be able to win the championship at this point, but you've got to be there, and he's doing everything he can.
Yeah. Another little interesting change through the pit stops, or at least a change in gap, has been this one. Luke Rosella a lot closer to the clutches of Colin Warwick for 3rd and 4th place. A bit of a long stop there for Rosella. Not exactly sure why that was the case, though.
He also pit a lap later than Warwick and co. So I think he ended up in a little bit of a mixer with some of the lapped cars who were pitting as well.
And then there's this one as well, this battle between Lockie Burke and Zach Baker. We've seen this go through from a lot of the middle section of the race until Bagsy cursed it. Interesting that Burke has been able to get Baker in the pit stops. And I wonder if that was because he pit a lap later, was able to get through without any interference in the pit lane. But it's very close between the pair of them at the moment.
Yeah, and Chris Island's right there as well. Yeah, he's in lurking about in striking distance. If these two have a coming together of some kind, he's going to be ready to pick up the pieces or drive directly into the pieces, depending on how if anything happens. But yeah, he's definitely there and thereabouts.
Unfortunately, this particular Mustang doesn't have a nice onboard view that I can use, so I'm a little sad about that.
Fortunate.
I know. I'll just make my own. There we are.
Ah, beautiful. Right as we get into turn 9 as well. Very different line there. Zach Baker.
I think, was that just a drive-through penalty or the fastest lap of the race? It was the fastest lap of the race. For Dane Warren, it was a 16.8. So that he's putting some immaculate pace onto the rear of Ethan, and here's that gap. And in fact, it's actually gone out a little bit, which is because Ethan has just responded with the fastest first sector of the entire race. And it looks like Dane's slowing up quite significantly now. Has he got a problem?
It may have just clipped the wall there in turn 8. You know, it may have just been a bit of a connection glitch instead. But yeah, he's definitely lost some positions there. Some time there. So yeah, it was mainly the middle sector. It seems like he's lost it.
Yeah, a purple middle sector for Ethan Warren as well.
16.6.
Well, hey, at this rate, they could get to the 16.3 for the lap record that was set by Jake Maloney back in 2020. It would have been, or yeah. So
the track's starting to rubber in a little bit more, and he's definitely, you know, inspired, I guess, as we see them clattering across the curbs there as they put a lap on Dostal. Yeah, it's and Kaya Jones isn't far up the road from them either, so that's probably going to affect their ability to do fast laps if they come up across him at the wrong point. But yeah, it's Ethan not giving up on this champ.
Dang. Oh! Whoa! Wow!
I don't know. Now, I'm not sure if that was a connection thing just showing him do that, or if that was what actually happened. But that's he's yeah, it seems like he's right on the limit there. He's struggling a bit more through turn 8.
That was absolutely wild. Let's see if we can get a replay of that from the cockpit, because I want to see just how that went. So here we go. It's all fine through here, and then just where it juts out, oh, he definitely collected that.
Yeah, I think he caught that little bit there. I mean, like, yeah, he's 2.5 seconds behind his brother now, so he's lost a lot of time there.
I'm just mostly surprised he's managed to keep it on the island after that. That's incredible, because that wall doesn't jut out all that much.
Was he just enough to upset the car and veered a bit?
I wonder if he'll tell a story later that, like, oh no, the wall moved.
Yeah. The old Senna style. Yeah, it's all good that time. Gives it a bit of a berth. Yeah, so we've got 5 laps to go, the completion of this lap, and yeah, suddenly Ethan's in a much more commanding position than he was before.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly that all changed for Dane Warren and Ethan Warren. Lap times, another 16 last lap around for Ethan, by the way, 16.836. So he's still quite clearly got the hammer down.
I mean, he's got Kai's just been lapped by both of them, so he's got clear track ahead of him. and he can basically just go for broke now.
Yeah, so let's have a look again. 1, 2, then this is Kai Jones, Brandon Dostal. There's Luke Rosella as the third place driver. We should see Colin Warwick, who's actually dropped quite a fair bit away from the rear of Luke Rosella for fourth place. There's Trent Allen, he's a lap down. Aiden Sykes is also a lap down. And then we've got a little bit of a wait before we see Kurt Stenberg. Let's see, there's Kurt Stenberg. And then Lockie Burke, Zach Baker, and Chris Ireland. What were you seeing, Bagsy?
When Stenberg tipped into the corner, it looked like he might have had a bit of a squirrely bit at the end, but I think he's made it through fine. No yellow flags or sound of cars crashing, so I think he's all good.
Not this time yet. There is now Cosberry Weller, RSM Latino. He's the last one on the lead lap, and then we should see, there he is, race leader Ethan Warren come across the line to start lap 27.
Yeah, the 1:17.5, which is positively glacial for him.
Pedestrian for Ethan after those quick laps.
Yeah, it's 4 laps left, and as it stands, as Dostal gets a drive-through penalty for track limits, as it stands, Dane Warren will be our championship winner at the end of this race.
We're just going to have a quick replay of something that happened to Zach Baker that last lap around. Coming through turn 7, just got a little too much curb on the inside.
Ooh. Smacked the wall there. Oh no.
It just kept getting worse for Baker, unfortunately.
He's managed to stay ahead of RSM Latino, but he's now 10 seconds ahead of, or 15 seconds ahead of RSM, about 15 behind Chris Ireland. So he's only lost one position, but he's sort of put himself in a bit of no man's land. He did have a chance at competing with Lockie Burke for 6th before that, but not meant to be.
Not, unfortunately, not at all for Zach Baker. Still a decent run from him. Yes, you made mention though he was in challenge with this man, Lockie Burke, who sits in 6th place, not too far behind Kurt Stenberg, truth be told, and up 11 places, Lockie Burke. So that's quite impressive. Quite an impressive run from Lockie Burke.
He was very unlucky to miss out on the shootout, and probably could have been on the front 2 rows quite easily, but yeah, wasn't meant to be with his laps. You know, you've got to set the laps within the confines of the rules, and he didn't manage it, but he's definitely made up for it, and you feel like he probably wouldn't have been that much further down the road, honestly, even if he'd started up the front. We've had the safety car that's helped squeeze things up a bit and definitely given him a bit of an advantage in that regard.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he'd actually set a lap in qualifying, he would have done a bit better for Lockie Burke. And for Zach Baker as well. Oh, as that was a crashing car sound that we heard in that light, wasn't it? I didn't make that up, did I?
Is anyone dropping significantly? Don't look like it. May have been just someone doing a quick scrape of the wall somewhere.
Oh, it was, and it was Kurt Stenberg, who's just ahead of Lockie Burke. So we'll just have a quick replay of what's happened to Stenberg here. So this was the run through turn 1. A lot of curb on turn 1 and turn 2, and then heaps of curb at 3. And so that was a big strike. So that was the sound that I heard in my ear. So no wonder we heard that crash.
Yeah, well, this could open him up to attack from Lockie Burke. If he's done a little bit of damage there, may affect his. There's only 2 laps left when he completes this one, so he'll be pretty close. But yeah, it's not what you want at this point in the race.
And it just goes, a big lock up, and he's gone wide at turn 14. This opens the door for Burke if he can find a way through. Not quite just enough of a gap, but yeah, I was just about to say, every lap, every corner of this track requires ultimate concentration, and the little laps will have ultimate consequences. And we saw it there for Kurt Stenberg, a 21-second lap last lap around. 121 rather.
Yeah, no, that's not what you want at all. And yeah, look, there you go. He's just lit up the tyres again. He's struggling a lot. Burke has arrived on scene and wants this.
He's chucked the nose down the inside at 6. He's going to try and fire it through at 7. Yes, he is. There's room on the outside. Stenberg can get across. And it's going to be a drag race into turn 8. Meanwhile, leader has started the last lap. So we'll try...
they're going to go side by side to turn... No, he's going to... he's going to give him the space. Yep. But he's got so much pace. Look at that. Stenberg just can't get it turned in. And under brakes, Stenberg's going to be nice on brakes. Oh, he's just turned in on him there.
A little bit of contact. Once again, we made mention Lockie Burke not really showing conviction under brakes into turn 9.
Hi Jones, the track limits penalty. Let's see, we saw Stenberg struggle into the final corner last lap. He went deep. That's what's brought Burke up to him now. Can he get stopped?
He can.
Oh, Burke just fires it.
And they're going to go side by side on the exit. And it looks like Burke has finally got that one done. It was a bit complicated for a lap there. We'll see how they go through the centre chicane.
Stenberg's still thinking about it as they come up.
Oh, he's gone! He's straight into the wall!
Gone.
Oh, what a dramatic conclusion to Stenberg's race.
We go back. Ethan Warren's coming through the final corner now. He will take a excellent and quite commanding race win in the end. Just 4 seconds ahead of his brother Dane Warren. A well-run race, pretty much picture perfect after he passed him under safety car. Well done, Ethan Warren. And coming across in second place is Dane Warren, our new champion for this year. Congratulations, Dane Warren, on a very well-run season. That Bathurst victory has definitely proven the difference, and flawlessly run tonight with doing exactly what he needed to do, and some celebratory donuts right there. It was very well done from Dane Warren. Realistically, a perfect season. You know, doing everything he needed to do and just really dominating this whole game. This whole race, this whole season.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, very well done from both of them. Luke Rosella ended up getting home 3rd, followed by Colin Warwick, Lockie Burke with 5th, and Chris Islands actually got ahead of Stenberg. So Stenberg did a lot of damage there and is just managing to limp across the line. That is unfortunate for him. So he's lost another place. Zach Baker actually came pretty close to getting him as well, I think.
So Baker's just coming across the line now to finish in 8th place. And we'll have RSM Latino come through the final corner. And then lap runners Trent Allen, Aiden Sykes, Brandon Dostal, and Kai Jones. Let's just quickly have a look at that moment for Stenberg again. Just wide, hit that second curb, and bang. You know, that reminds me of the moment that it was James Golding had as a Super 2 car in that exact corner. Oh, yeah. Hang on. This is what's happened here.
I think he's just been a bit happy on the loud pedal on the way in and chucked the handbrake on.
Let's have a look. Yeah, this is what we want to see. Good on.
He was doing some excellent drifting. This is how he's parking. Just efficient parking.
Love to see it. Love to see it in the end of the race. Great race there in race 1. Full of action, full of controversy, full of carnage on the streets of Adelaide. Kurt Stenberg, that late crash. That early crash between Thomas McMillan and Peter Stenberg brought out an early safety car. But from there, a great race from Ethan Warren to hold off his brother with some blowtorch level pressure. And then, regardless though, Dane Warren doing enough to win the championship. What a start to tonight's proceedings, Bragsy.
Yeah, I know, right? We've still got another race to go, but well done to Dane Warren for securing that championship. I'm sure he would have wanted to get it with a race win, but you know, it's still the main thing you have to do is just keep your head on straight and do what you need to do to get through to the end, which he definitely did.
Yeah, and that was despite snagging the wall at turn 8 once or twice, including a bit of a moment where he hit a little bit of the cutout, which sent him a bit sideways, but ultimately he did exactly enough to win the championship. in what has been an immaculate season for the Warrens in conjunction with each other as well. Colin Warwick rose up the grid from 7th or 8th rather up to 3rd place to complete 4th place, behind Luke Rosella, who completed the podium. But for me, the driver of the race gonna go to Lockie Burke, up 11 positions after not qualifying in qualifying.
Yeah, he's done quite well to get as far up as he has, and yeah, he'll be quite happy with that. I guess the driver who lost the most from this race is Kurt Stenberg, who ended up finishing down in, was it 8th, I believe?
8th place, yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna actually cost him a fair bit in terms of points, because he's gonna end up dropping 60 points to Ethan Warren for that battle he was having in 2nd place.
And that gap was only 40 points. In fact, while we have a moment, let's bring up that points graphic once again. I think it's that one. Did I get it right? I did. Oh, looky me. And that was the points heading into the race, the first race. So with a 40-point gap, a 60-point swing between Stenberg and Warren, that puts Ethan Warren into 2nd place in the championship now.
Yeah, it definitely does. It's not good for Stenberg. So yeah, 2nd place, 100% still up for grabs. Yeah, it's going to be quite close now, because we've got 40-point swing puts him 2 points ahead. So really, it's going to be winner takes all in this final race.
Or did you say it was a 40-point swing or a 60-point swing?
Sorry, let me just double check my maths. So Ethan first 150 points, and 8th is 90 points. Sorry, so yeah, there's a 60-point swing, so a 22-point lead to Ethan Warren. So he can come in 3rd place and secure 2nd in the championship next race, because 129 points for 3rd versus 150 for 1st place. So yeah, that'll only be a 21-point gap. So for Ethan to get 2nd and complete the Warren championship sweep, it'll be a 3rd is all that's required, and that's with a win from Stenberg. But realistically, is anyone going to be near Dane Warren? And we saw Ethan, obviously just won that race. He's just as fast. So, really, you think Stenberg's going to struggle to beat both Warrens. If he can beat a Warren, and that Warren is Ethan, but can't beat the other one, then he needs Ethan to have an absolute mare and finish in like 5th or something.
Or he'll need someone like Luke Rosella or Steve Warwick, or Colin Warwick rather, to come in and give him a hand. We got a message from Kurt in the live chat up on YouTube. By the way, if you do want to jump into the live chat on YouTube, we do love interacting with people when they have something relevant to say, which is rarely, but it's still fun when it happens. Kurt's saying that his rear tires fell off a cliff, and I think what we saw based on the lap leading up to that incident for Kurt, it was clear that his tires had just completely fallen away.
Yeah, definitely. He was really struggling there. Corner, and it just sort of snowballed from there, unfortunately. Yeah,
indeed. And one of the things, I guess, with pitting a little earlier like he did, and also I'm actually not sure how that's come about. Kurt, if you are still listening to us, tell us why your tires fell off a cliff, because it seemed that, well, you weren't really involved in any battles or anything, so I'm confused as to why, unless you're just a bit heavy on the loud pedal. Which,
He may have... is the compulsory pit stop, so they have to take tyres?
They don't have to, so that it's possible that he did not.
Could have done that to try and save some time, but I feel like it's not advised. He definitely would have changed them at the first one, but I mean, you can save a decent amount of time. He's unsure, he has no idea.
Yeah. Fair enough.
He has the brakes.
He has no idea. Okay, so just as we're heading into qualifying, we're going to take... do we have time to take a little 5-minute break?
I think we'll take a break and we'll be back to see at least... We'll be back in time.
Okay.
It'll be all good. We'll be back momentarily.
welcome back to the Automobilista Supercars Championship. Final round of the season at Adelaide, the streets of the Adelaide 500. We are straight into qualifying because no rest for the wicked here. 5-minute qualifying session to set the grid for the final race of the season. And there's no shootout here, it is just qualifying and then straight in. So we will see what will happen. In the first qualifying session of the night, we saw the Warren brothers, Ethan and Dane, set the cracking laps at the front. Let's see what the likes of Thomas McMillan has in store as they start their first flying laps in this session. Looking very smooth for McMillan as they come through into turn 4 and 5. Through 6 and through 7. And looking very, very smooth. So far, it is McMillan. He's the first one on a hot lap, so of course he's going to have the best sector time. But a 22.4 for McMillan is not too bad. Unfortunately, there are people with the last name Warren in this race, and so this man, Ethan Warren, has the fastest first sector time, a 21.5 to be the benchmark of the field. McMillan goes 53.4 to the second sector, as we've still got eyes on Warren, who's looking very tidy through turn 9. So it was a 53.5 for Thomas, a 52.6 for Ethan. So very much a cut above for Ethan Warren. We'll just catch McMillan coming across the line. He sets a 18 flat, which is a pretty impressive lap time to be the first runner through. Ethan will come through next. We've got Chris Island, who sets a 19. And then Ethan Warren, 16.8. Wow, let's see what Dane can do in response. And Dane's had a shocker of a lap, so he's not going to be up there at the moment. In fact, he had a track cut and will likely get one again for being that far over that time around.
Apologies.
It's all good. We're already only 90 seconds left to qualifying, Bagsy.
Yeah, but it comes fast in this game.
It absolutely does. And you'll be pleased to know that we've already got a 16.8 for Ethan Warren, which is an immaculate lap time. And I've also realised I like the word immaculate all of a sudden.
It is quite a cromulent word.
Now, cromulent, that's a word.
Perfectly cromulent. Dane yet to set a lap time.
He got a track cut in on his first attempt, and
yeah, it seems like a lot of people have, because we've only had 8 people set a time with a minute to go. So people are, apart from Lockie Burke's not participating in this qualifying session. So
and that was again similar to what he did in qualifying 1.
Must be just happy to go for it on his own. Zach Baker's managed to set a time though. Unfortunately, it is the slowest time. Identical to RSM Latino. Both have done a 1:20.127.
To the third decimal point, don't you love to see it? Dane Warren, a 17.1 to go into second. We've got eyes now on Kurt Stenberg, who is coming in to set his first lap of the session. And it looks to be just a little off the pace. So a little bit to find. Go ahead, Baker.
Zach Baker's jumped up to 7th. And he is no longer tied with RSM Latino, who's 7/10 faster. But they've both put a second lap in and then have enough time to do a third. So they've made the most of their session so far.
So we'll ride on board with Kurt Stenberg as he's on his final roll of the dice after he missed out on a previous lap time because of the track cut. So this is the only chance that he's got now. Because otherwise, if he doesn't get this together, he's going to be starting at the very back of the grid. Remember, no top 10 shootout for this race.
Yeah, where you qualify is where you stay. So, yeah, you got to go for it. And
right up on the curb at turn 8 for Kurt Stenberg. Has come down.
Ethan Warren's given up on his final lap.
Oh, in the background, you see Aiden Sykes there, completely around. So Aiden won't be improving on his 10th place at the moment.
Oh, Dane Warren can't improve.
A second down for Stenberg. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, second down still puts him in fourth, I believe. Depends on, it'll be very close with Colin Warwick.
And it's 6th place. Wow, so he dropped in behind Colin Warwick and Thomas McMillan.
Yeah, he dropped a big chunk in that last sector there. I don't think anyone's... Colin Warwick's lap definitely will be done. Zach Baker's done too. I believe that's everyone.
And we're all done. So that is the end of qualifying. What a quick session. And that was Ethan Warren from Dane Warren at the head of the field. A 16.8 for Ethan, which is an impressive lap time. Luke Rosello in 3rd place. Colin Warwick in 4th. Thomas McMillan, Kurt Stenberg, Trent Allen, Chris Ireland, Zach Baker, and Kai Jones is the top 10. RSN Latino, Aiden Sykes, Steve Warwick down to 13th. And then no lap times from Stenny, Lockie Burke, Michael Pollard, or Brandon Dostal. So another group of 4 drivers who didn't set a lap time, Bagsy.
Yeah, it's interesting. Also, Stenberg's got it all to do after that 6th place qualifying because, yeah, his main competitor has put it on pole. And, yeah, it's going to be the Warrens have swapped for this race. Luke Rosello takes his place as best of the rest. And, yeah, it's going to be, I think, Dane probably regunnering for Ethan now that he's had the, he's secured his championship 100%. He'll try and help out his, try and do an anti-Max Verstappen and help out his teammate.
Well, they're not teammates, are they?
Oh, they're not, are they? Yeah, they're different teams. I just sort of assume that they're going to be on the same team. But I guess that's like assuming that Ralph and Michael Schumacher were always on the same team when they were both in F1 together. It's a bit silly.
Yeah, well, I don't think they were ever in the same team,
They were not.
Schumachers. But yeah, they're not. Actually, the 2 Warren brothers aren't in the same team. Could you imagine, though, if they did Bathurst together, how just straight up redonkulous that would be?
I mean, I feel like with the safety cars we had, they probably still would have won by a lap. Even though everyone would have got the wave around every time. Far
out. Yeah, they are clearly a cut above, and it is kind of, well, it's just that they are now 1st and 2nd in the championship. Kurt has it all to do if he's to overcome that loss of points, that 20-point swing against him from that first race. But it has really been the Warren show this season. Now, I'm going to ask you something controversially, possibly controversial, Bagsy. Has that been good for the? Has that been good for the season?
I'll be honest, I haven't been able to follow this season as closely as I would have liked, but it does seem like it's may have put a little bit of a damper on something. But the thing is, the championship has still come down to the last race, so it's. Yeah, or the last race is the last round, I should say. So it's not like it has been uncompetitive. There's been plenty of other people winning and being in or there or thereabouts for quite a while. So I think that, you know, we're sort of treated to the fact that we get to see some supreme driving skill on display, but that doesn't mean that they're guaranteed to win. I don't know how many rounds they may have missed, because I know there are points. You get points for showing up and for being a consistent driver, which is good. But it's, yeah, you need to delve into the overall results for this season a bit more. But I still think it's a, you're always going to have, no one would say that this year's Supercar Championship was boring, even though Van Gisbergen fairly thoroughly dominated this year.
That's true.
It was still a very exciting season.
Yeah, as a very fitting way to send off Gen 2 as well, the car of the future chassis at that point. That's a good answer, Bagsy. I'm very impressed.
I had my moments.
Speaking of having moments, what time is it over there for you at the moment?
It is coming up on midnight very shortly.
So do you want to give everyone just a brief TLDR of what's happened to you in the past month or so? 2 months?
Oh yeah, I get previously last time.
So at Bathurst.
Well, I was commentary. Yeah, I was over in Perth, so I was had a nice early start for that race because it was 2.5 hours behind, and yeah, now I'm over in New Zealand, so I'm 2.5 hours ahead. So I've swapped one side of the Australia-New Zealand sphere for another.
You've gone from you've got the same time difference, just in the other direction now.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost it's not that much further away in terms of physical distance as well. Honestly, it's quite it's only about 4. If there was a direct flight to Adelaide, it'd only be about 4.5 hours versus the 3 from Perth. So yeah, it's
basically the same.
Functionally,
yeah,
it's not that different.
And you've moved over there to take a new job, I understand?
Yes, moved for work, and I mean, the good thing is there's plenty of perks, like the fact that the internet is much better here, so even though I was missing some of the files 5 minutes before we started, they were downloaded in about a minute, which was great.
Oh, that makes me a little jealous, truth be told.
But yeah, it's not, it also means that, being able to cover this, we start at 10 o'clock, so I don't have to worry about any other commitments getting in the way, because it's at a
late time slot.
Helpful.
You don't have to worry about missing dinner or having to cram in dinner beforehand, because
exactly. No, I was when had plenty. I had spent my time, made myself a nice dinner, and got to enjoy it quite slowly. Grab a beer and prepare for this evening. It was quite a relaxed build up for myself, to be honest.
Rub it in then, why don't you?
Yeah, I was the distinct opposite of imagine you frantically like pressing buttons and trying to figure out what's going on. Stairs helping out with various monitors and stuff. And...
luckily Stairs was able to come over yesterday to set me up with all the monitors and all the broadcast assets and everything. But yes, it was still quite a bit tonight to come home and boot everything up. And there's things that I've missed, like for example, I didn't set the picture-in-picture properly, so that's not something I've been able to use tonight, which is a little annoying, but that's fine. But yes, it is of course part and parcel of doing the gig. And for the last time, Bagsy, we have the ASC Racing for 2022, the last race of the season around the Adelaide Street Circuit. Qualifying record does still stand tonight, a 16.3 from Dane Warren. Did not get broken this evening. Race that record, 16.3 as well. Maybe not, we might not see that tonight either. That goes back to 2020, of course.
Yeah, it'll have to be the perfect lap, I'm sure. Previous pole sitters, Dane, Ethan now joining that. So it's not an all Dane affair with the previous pole sitters now.
But it is still a all Warren affair with Ethan and Dane being the previous winners, as well as we are waiting for the cars to make their way onto the grid for the start of this final race of the season. There they are, look at them.
There actually aren't technical difficulties. Well, they're technically technical difficulties, but we are on the front. Oh, not quite. We're looking at Trent Allen at the moment in that wonderful Texaco livery. It's quite nice to look at.
Here we go. How's that? That's the view looking down the main straight as they burn themselves away. For the last time, Bagsy, take us through the grid.
Ethan Warren setting pole position and outstripping Dane after he's going to try and go 2 for 2 in Dane's championship winning weekend. See how he goes. We've got one compulsory pit stop this week, remember, or this race rather. Dane starting from second place, our now champion-elect. He's got one more race to navigate and not get any horrific points penalties or anything that might make him lose it. Luke Rosella starts from third, yet again. Colin Warwick alongside him in fourth. Row 3 is Thomas McMillan and Kurt Stenberg. Stenberg with all to do to try and secure second place in the championship. Trent Allen and Chris Ireland bring up row 4.
Oh, disqualification for Stenny.
Stenny's been disqualified. I'm not sure what's happened there. We'll see what happens in terms of... Kai Jones is also out of position at the moment, but Zach Baker is starting in 9th alongside Kai Jones in 10th. He'll slot back in behind shortly. RSM Latino starts in 11th alongside Aiden Sykes. Steve Warwick, Harrison Martinez's teammate, starts directly behind him. He's alongside Brendan Dostal. Sorry, he's not. He's alongside
Acclaim Bite.
Acclaimer Bite. I'm not sure who that is. He's joined in. Brendan Dostal's in 15th. Then Michael Pollard starts in 16th. Stenny is now in the garage in 17th. So not sure what happened there, but it doesn't look like we've restarted. And Lockie Burke, who elected not to qualify again, wants to make another charge through the field, see how far he can get from the back.
So this will be a fascinating final race for the ASC field. 14 laps and 1 compulsory pit stop as they grid up for the last time in season 2022. I love that shot. I love that shot. Them coming down the main straight. It's brilliant.
It's very nice.
Here we go. So we have 17 cars with the addition of Acclaim Bite and the removal of Stenny. And here we are, ready for the final race of the season. Revs are rising, lights are on.
Lights aren't quite on yet.
Something's happening. I hope something's happening. There we are.
Here we go.
And they're away. And it's a great start for Dane Warren. Have a look at that as they come through towards turn 1 and 2.
Big one for Stenberg as well.
And they follow their way through. And it's Dane leading from Ethan Rosella. And then look at the background. Warwick versus Stenberg. In through to turn 4 and 5. And it's chaos in the background. Sykes almost gets turned around, but he's back on song. And they all managed to sneak their way through.
It was a brilliant start from Stenberg, but he just had nowhere to go. He got boxed in as he goes past Warwick. He forces him off wide, and he takes that position. McMillan looks to threaten as well.
A spin in the background, and that was Zach Baker, I think.
Zach Baker, that's unfortunate. He started right at the back anyway. Through turn 8 they go, and we've got Stenberg up in 4th and ahead Ethan Warren's having a go. But Warwick wants to go back at this. He's not managed it, but he's still absolutely up in front. The top 3 have not left each other's sides. But Warren with that brilliant, Dane Warren with that brilliant start has absolutely rinsed his line. Oh, here goes Rosella. He shoved it in.
And they're going to drag race down the main straight.
He might get 2 for 1 here.
Let's have a look as they go through into... Oh, Rosello's going around the outside. He's absolutely up on 2 wheels. That was amazing.
That was definitively a track cut by every single metric you could absolutely think of. As Dane Warren shoves himself back up the inside as well. Just playing Kurt Stenberg back into it. They are slowing themselves down quite a bit. There is just so much argy-bargy, bump and barge all over the place. I think they're all touching at the same time here at the moment in places. They're just connected in a or in a car centipede, I should say. And here's Stenberg and Warwick as well. As Warren brothers are looking to go side by side to turn 8. Rosella doesn't know who to cover.
Oh, it's going to be a train wreck. They come out the other side. Warren's around the outside. He's made massive contact with the wall, but manages to bounce off and keep going. They fan out into turn 9. It's Rosella. It's Stenberg. It's Ethan Warren. It's Colin. And he's around. Dane Warren's around. Big crash, big accident.
It's just all, it's all gone awfully. There's a massive pile up here.
And it's a safety car. It is a safety car
not
now.
Surprising. So Rosella, the result of that is Rosella's in front, followed by, and he's in the pits along with Ethan, along with Stenberg. Stenberg's overtaken.
Whoa,
oh my God, they're all trying to overtake into the pits. What's happening?
Everyone's in the pits.
Did someone lose a wheel there? Is that a wheel I see?
Whereabouts are you looking?
Missing at the entrance to the pit. It might be the bottom of the cone. Because that cone definitely didn't survive. Okay.
So, literally, the only person who has not come into the pits is Brandon Dostal. Brandon Dostal will lead a lap in the Automobilista Supercars Championship because...
I'll be honest, that's a smart move because everyone's behind. He's not going to lose too much time with the safety car here. Ethan Warren gets a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
And that might be because of the contact on pit entry. Are you sure that there's not more further penalties as well?
That's the only one I saw. So
Okay.
Dostal's, he was already a fair way back. So the worst case scenario, if he pits after this, he's gonna get in there without any contact whatsoever. But best case scenario, he just stays out and hopes for a safety car later and do a pit stop there, and give it a go that way. I mean, it's in such a short race, the strategy game might not work as well.
Yeah.
But if there's another safety car, it'll work really well. Actually, Thomas McMillan, he didn't pit either, did he? Because he's just come up behind Dostal.
He
did he pit?
So
He did?
I think so. Let's, as my mic falls off, let's just have a quick look while we've got a chance at a replay of what just happened. So here we are. This was the run into turn 9 rather.
Warwick going to the back of Dane, I think, but just because of the scenario.
Yeah, so Warwick's trying to cover from McMillan. Dane's on the outside, and then there's the contact because Dane's been slowed up. That's now...
everything wants to team it up.
So what position is Dane in at the moment? Dane's in 11th, so let's find Dane. Here's... Oh, sorry. Oh, my God. There's Dane. So what happens then is that he's a sitting duck in the middle of turn 9, and everyone runs into him.
Yeah, and each other at the same time.
So I think there's Aiden Sykes involved in that. Both of the Warwick Racing Team cars were involved in that. So a bit of a madhouse there. Now, I'm going to see if I can go back as well and find that moment for Luke Rosella, because that was crazy.
All right, McMillan hadn't pitted, so he's pit now.
Okay.
But Dostal has stayed out.
So it was a fair bit
Trent
to
Allen's
unpack there.
spun under safety car.
Oh, what? Whereabouts?
He's just coming out of turn 3 up to turn 4 now.
Oh my good
Back
golly
of the
gosh.
field.
Trent Allen, did you say?
Trent Allen, yeah.
I'm trying to find 3 different things at once here. There we go. Oh, Trent Allen. So what's happened to Trent?
That's just after the incident there.
Okay, let's speed this up. So he's not just gone in, he's gone in hard.
He's lit up the rear tyres.
Oh.
Or was he pushed?
Did he jump or was he pushed? That is the question.
Well, he's trying to retake the position he was in the safety car train, so...
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so while we've got another chance, let's have a look at all of this. So this was the end of lap 1 with Rosella, Warren, and Warren. So Rosella sends it at turn 14, and then it's a drag race down the main straight, and then we'll see... this is gonna be mental. Oh, you can't really see it from that angle. That's no fun. That's no fun.
Completely cut the curb there by a long way.
So let's see if we have a better angle. So that's what it looked like on board. Whoa! What a wild moment there. But yeah, it was all going on.
Safety car's going around another lap, so we've got a bit of
Bit of time to
continue to
wow it.
unpack what's been happening.
It was an absolutely crazy onset of this race, it must be said. Blimey. Okay, now we can actually have a bit of a look at the field now that we have everyone all back together. So, at the front of the field, we have Brandon Dostal, who hasn't taken his pit stop yet. So that's important to know. Second place is Ethan Warren. He has a drive-through penalty for speeding the pit lane that may or may not be because he was shoved by Kurt Stenberg. Kurt Stenberg sits in third. Now, I wonder, with this drive-through penalty, does that mean that Kurt Stenberg will be in a championship second place winning position? That's a good question. Colin Warwick, fourth place. Kai Jones into fifth place. That's impressive. Luke Rosella into sixth. Now, he must have gotten held up in the pit stop because he was leading into the pit lane. Trent Allen, seventh place. Lockie Burke, eighth place. Dane Warren down in ninth after getting tagged into that spin. And then there's the follow-on as well of whether or not Steve Warwick will get penalised for causing that spin. Zach Baker, 10th place. Chris Island, 11th. Michael Pollard, 12th place. RSM Latino, Steve Warwick, Aiden Sykes, and Thomas McMillan is your 16 cars currently running. Acclaim Bite is already DNF'd, unfortunately, and Stenny, we saw on the opening lap, got a disqualification. So it has been a 5 laps already, but
I feel like it'd be rude to give Warwick a penalty for that, because that was just the concertina effect. You know, he was not expecting them to be so choked up where they were and basically coming to a dead stop. You know, there's only so much you can do, and he had people coming in from behind as well. Also, quickly, Trent Allen had Chris Island unceremoniously run into the back of him. That's why he was spun.
Okay.
As the safety car enters.
And Ethan Warren comes in to take his drive-through. We've got Blair Warren saying that the drive-through for Ethan is a joke. So certainly no holds barred from Blair there as we come through.
I think he's fed the pit lane. It's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
As Dostal, good restart. It's done quite well there.
He was helped by the fact that Ethan left a gap behind him, of course. But now Ethan is in the pit lane. Oh, we've got a big crash in the background. Big crash. We'll just try and find out who that was. That was Chris Ireland, who's now sitting on the exit of turn 3. Let's have a look at what happened to Chris on the restart as the field is still running towards turn 8. So bam, hit that second curve. Oh, that's a rough one.
That's day done there. As you see, Dostal, he leads. He's up 15 positions because he hasn't pit, but he's making hay.
While the sun shines.
And Ethan Warren is 8 seconds off the back of Sykes at the moment.
This is another thing as well to keep an eye on. Dane Warren, the progress of Dane Warren. We said he was 9th at the safety car restart, already up to 6th place.
Indeed, as looks like we've got Stenberg is overtaking Dostal now. Oof, he's brave to cut off his nose there. Oh, he's round. He's spun.
Oh no, Stenberg!
He's lost it. Oh, he's got. Oh, jeez, he's almost scored and instantly come back on, but he's rejoined safely. But geez, I don't even know how that happened. I think he might have gone a bit too wide and lost it. We'll
catch a replay anyway, when we can, but it's still going on at the front of the field.
Dostal and Rosella. Rosella's going to go for it. Oh my god!
Oh, there's a big crash!
Oh my goodness!
Dostal's on his roof!
Stenberg's just murdered Dostal. Stenberg has absolutely ruined Dostal right there, and that is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what Stenberg was thinking there.
Here's the front view of the replay. So just have a look here. Stenberg has got everything locked up trying to defend from Dane Warren, and bang! Onto his roof, right into, well, what is that building there? That's just a residency there. That is...
I don't know what Stenberg was doing there. I don't know if he got a bump from Dane or not there, but I'm wondering if that may have been revenge if Dostal did something to him, but I don't think he did. I think he... No, see, he just lost it all himself into the final corner. As Chris is retired from the race. Chris Island is out, so that's not surprising after that.
And we've had a bust-up as well between Steve Warwick and Aiden Sykes at turn 9, but we're watching this battle for the lead. I'm going to paraphrase something I said, it would have been almost 2 years ago now. There is nothing I can say in defense of Kurt Stenberg.
Yeah, I mean, he got like a little tiny bump.
And there's contact between Colin Warwick and Luke Rosella at turn 4, and this is going to back the field up. And look at that, Dane Warren's almost in the lead of the race. No, Rosella maintains his position. But, oh, this is chaos. This is absolute chaos here at the final race of the season. It schools out. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this in the background. It is nuts. It is absolute pandemonium at the back of the field there as they're going through turns 5 and 6.
It's just absolutely ridiculous.
So, okay, we'll scroll this back just quickly. Here we go. So Colin Warwick and Luke Rosella coming through here. There's Warwick again trying to defend from Dane Warren, trying to make a pass. Just absolutely nails the inside of Luke Rosella. Dane has to climb over the side of him. And then look at how this kicks off with Warwick delaying everyone here. There's panel rubbing. Kai Jones is out of shape. There's more contact. It's just absolute. This is last day of school stuff.
Oh yeah, it's going absolutely mental. I think I just saw Warwick have a go up the inside of Luke Rosella. Where's Dane gone?
Where is Dane gone? That is a great question. What has happened to Dane?
He's in 11th.
He's coming back into the pits. He's in the pits. What's going on here? Is that a puncture? Is he grabbed a puncture?
I'm not sure. That's very strange. But he's lost all that time. I completely missed where that happened. Is why we were looking at.
Oh, so we're doing this on the live camera. Sorry about that. Sorry. So it looks like he's dropped down. So he came to a stop on the exit of turn 6. So I wonder if he actually picked up a puncture from that contact with. So let's have a look here. So I wonder if he's actually picked up a puncture here.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
Because then when he's gone into the next corner, I would have thought he's just gone straight around. But yeah, he's locked up that inside front. He must have had a puncture. Because then, if we just follow him here, he just ends up on the exit of turn 6. So that's what's happened to Dane.
There you go. Well, that's dropped him back down to 14th place. Sorry, 13th place as Alan has DNF'd.
We got
McMillan's had an incident too. The battle for first is going mental at the moment.
So McMillan is spinning at every corner. Let's leave McMillan alone.
Let's go back to this battle at the front because it's going absolutely crazy.
Here we are. So this is Ethan Warren versus Colin Warwick versus Luke Rosella. Ethan Warren has set the fastest lap of the race down in 7th. His brother is behind him in 12th. Look at them. They're like friggin'. They're just Aussie. This is Aussie racing cars at the moment. And we've got 4 laps left of this. Rosella, Warwick, Stenberg, Lockie Berg, Zach Baker, Kai Jones. That's your top 6 at the moment. But those positions are all interchangeable at the drop of a hat. Stenberg goes down the inside of Warwick. They're almost 3 wide down the back straight.
Yeah, and the thing is, Ethan Warren's right back up in this as well.
Yeah, look at that.
He's there and ready for some points. Like, I mean, I'm almost certain Kurt Stenberg's going to get a penalty anyway, which will make all. But at the moment, it's,
there's another moment for Stenberg. He's gone down the oh my god, golly gosh, God!
Kurt, you cannot use other cars as brakes. That's not how this works. He's just, he's got to shove right to the back of Rosella there. Almost pushed him into the turn 11 fence to fit with the theme of the last race. But Stenberg currently in 2nd, pending any penalties. But he's got Warwick. He's just firing it up.
He's just absolutely
everywhere.
Centered.
Warwick's going to take advantage. Oh god, they're going to go through. This is going to be an aeroplane crash. They're going to go 3 wide into the chicane. This is not going to go well for anyone. Rosella in 1st. Oh, Stenberg, discretion being the better part of valor there, gives up on it, thankfully. And there's like Kai Jones is in with this as well. Ethan Warren's passed him, but Kai Jones is arguably still in the shot of the race win because these people could all kill each other in the last 3 laps of this race.
Let's see if we can ride on board for like a half a second with Ethan Warren without seeing nope. Contact there with Zach Baker.
Okay, so at the moment Stenberg's in 2nd, Ethan Warren is in 6th. So that means that there would be a 26-point advantage to Stenberg. So Stenberg currently in 2nd place, not counting for any penalties, as Rosella's formed a little breakaway.
How long will he be able to hold on to that, though, with the chaos that's going on behind?
Who knows? This is just... I can't believe there hasn't been another safety car yet. At the moment, so we know that there's a 22-point gap in Ethan Warren's favour for 2nd place at the moment. So he needs to get into 4th place. That's the equation as it stands.
Oh, and there's more contact in the final corner again.
We've
got a yellow flag in sector 1.
Oh yeah, that's not Baker. Lockie Burke's had an accident out the final corner.
A drive-through penalty for Colin Warwick. And that will be for track limits.
That's track cuts, and that gives another position.
Gives
another position to Ethan Warren. Still not enough. He still needs 4th.
Well, he's in 5th currently. He's in 5th currently, so that's enough for him now. And he's going to get Zach Baker here, so he will be in 4th regardless. So there's Baker. Ethan Warren. He's now into 4th place.
There you go, so 4th place, so Kurt Stenberg has to get 1st now. It's a matter of desperation for him. And 1st isn't going to guarantee him 2nd place either.
Oh, tag, all in the wall there as Rosella comes over and covers the inside. Colin Warwick
heavy
also
defense.
down the inside.
Warwick wants to Oh, he's going to pull the swapper on him, but he can't quite get it. Well defended there from Rosella.
And Warwick is going to have to yield to Ethan Warren in the background as well. I'm not sure. Kurt Stenberg drive-through penalty over the inside curve at 11, and that's it. That's day done.
I mean, we thought he was probably going to get a penalty anyway for the attempted murder of Brendan Dostal. But, yeah, he's gone and he's not quite managed it, unfortunately. That's the pressure. He's got past. He's got past. He's probably just going to take the penalty at the end, but yeah, that's unfortunate for Stenberg because he did what he needed to do. Ethan's in third place, 1 second.
Rosella just fired into the rear of Stenberg there. They were all locked up coming through into turn 4. We've got a lap and a half of this for the season, everyone. And of course, Rosella, that's not a passing opportunity.
To be fair, Stenberg's been doing a lot worse to him as it is, though.
Zach Baker comes through like a wrecking ball, and that's done. No. That's Rosella done. Kai Jones goes through.
Jones on the podium. Then the thing is, that might be a penalty for Zach as well. So
absolutely.
Zach Baker.
So we'll catch a
Zach
replay
Baker
of
getting
this.
a penalty here. They all got mixed up and backed up, and Baker's like, "Oh yeah, I can do this," and then
straight
maybe
through
it's
like
a penalty.
wrecking ball.
Maybe it's a penalty for Baker because that was sort of a mixture of Ethan Warren being there as well. We've got Ethan Warren and Stenberg battling at the front as well that we sort of neglected after Rosella's dropped back from that incident. But so at the moment, Zach Baker third, Kai Jones fourth, Stenberg comes into service drive-through.
And Stenberg comes into service drive-through. So after all that, Ethan Warren out at the head of the field with no one for miles behind him.
Kai Jones in third could get a podium here. He's got Luke Rosella behind him though, but we think potentially a penalty for Zach Baker, which might get him. But hopefully Kai Jones gives the defense of his life.
Absolutely, that's what we want to see for Kai Jones here, coming through in the panorama graphics privateer machine. Lockie Burke does a great job to get out the way. Zach Baker with a question mark over his head. Kurt Stenberg with a question mark over his head. Luke Rosella dives down the inside at turn 6 and hangs Kai Jones high and wide. And they make a little contact on the entry to 7, and that might be it, unfortunately, for Jones. And Rosella will come through to take third place. What an absolute madhouse of a race. And it's on at the front as well. Look at this. Zach Baker right on the tail of Ethan Warren. Ethan's defending all the way to the inside. There's no more room. There's nuts to butts. They're pushing, poking,
He's going to push him.
And Baker's through. Baker's through at
shoved him out the way. He's just gone for the bump and run on the last lap of the race. He's like, nah, bugger your fact that you get second in the championship. I want to win the race. Let's see how Ethan responds into the final corner. He's just going to bomb it down. He's shoved it right into it. Rosella's going to win if he's not careful.
They climbed over each other's wheel. Ethan's gone. Zach Baker's going to win. Luke Rosella. And Kai Jones gets a third place. Oh my God, what an absolute madhouse. And check this out as well. Warwick versus Kurt Stenberg at the line. Stenberg's going to get 6th place. RSM Latino finished 5th as well. Oh my God, and there's chaos after the flag. Oh my good golly gosh godness. They're all gone. They're all gone.
What a race. What a finish. You weren't wrong when you said last day of school vibes. That was just ridiculous. That was one of the craziest things I've seen.
And
what an ending. Kai Jones, we don't know what's going to happen with penalties here as well. Things could still change for that. Zach Baker might get a penalty, which would put Kai Jones up to second, Rosella with the race win. And I don't know how clean Rosella's hands are, but I mean, there's the potential, however unlikely that Kai Jones could get a race win here, just sheerly due to the fact that he kept his nose clean that whole time, and while everyone else was being insane around him.
Yeah, what a result for Kai Jones. So well done to Kai Jones. That's a great result. Just keep his nose clean. That race had everything, and now it's got some big old liquor straps being put down by Dane Warren down the back straight. But I mean, between the safety car on lap 1 for the Warwick and Warren incident, the chaos in pit lane, the brutal murder of Brandon Dostal, the Kurt Stenberg Chronicles, as he tagged every bumper on every panel in every other car, and then the chaos of the last few laps. What a way to finish! What a way to finish the year. There's honestly there's nothing. I can't add. That's it. That's all we got. Hope you've enjoyed ASC 2022 because they sure did.
Oh man, what a way to finish up, eh? It's just, it was. I mean, I don't think if you'd said Kai Jones was going to be on the podium, anyone would have taken you seriously at all. He started in 10th place, and he's just managed to keep his nose clean all the way up to 3rd, which is just a brilliant job. I know I've been going on about how good Dane Warren's been, but that is as good in my opinion.
Especially in a race that's that chaotic. So just to cover off all of the results, we had, and keep in mind, this is provisional, definitely provisional.
It's the biggest asterisk next to this of all time.
And like, you're not going to hear about what the actual results are because it's the last race of the season, so we're not going to we can't update you. Might get an update next year at Newcastle, maybe. But so the end of the results are Zach Baker from Luke Rosella from Kai Jones, Ethan Warren in 4th, RSM Latino 5th place, Kurt Stenberg and Trent Allen in 6th and 7th, Colin Warwick, Steve Warwick. That doesn't seem quite right. Colin Warwick, Steve Warwick, Thomas McMillan, Dane Warren. That's definitely not right. Okay, so these provisional results are also wrong.
Well, as what we do know is that 1st place in the championship went to Dane Warren.
Yes.
2nd place has gone to Ethan Warren after that, and Kurt Stenberg will come in 3rd. I did notice in live chat, Kurt said he reckons Dane got him in the back there, and that's what caused him to lose control. So he said, you know, but he said the rest of it, I'll accept the penalties. He definitely did get that track cut one, so luckily we didn't have to worry about that one going to the stewards afterwards. But yeah, what an end! It was probably the most chaotic Adelaide race I've seen, and I did the ASR endurance race around here that ended up with people running out of fuel on the line and all sorts.
Oh,
but
yes.
It was just a absolutely crazy final race of the season. What a way to go out!
Yeah.
Can't believe you missed it, Bears and Madbeth.
Yeah, absolutely. They've probably got very important things happening in their life, but yeah, what a race to miss. Gosh, I'm gonna need a stiff drink and a lie down after that. And we've got a few of our racing championship winners. Let's start with our championship winner for the 2022 ASC Supercars, Dane Warren. Congratulations! It's finally happened. It's finally over. 2022 ASC is in your back pocket. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man. I think it's yeah. Well, I'm definitely happy to tie it up before that last race because it was just an absolute mess in the sprint race. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. We didn't have much pace over Ethan in the first one, but yeah, once again, I'm not too unhappy about that. I'm just happy to take on the championship.
Yeah, and it was a well-fought championship, an incredibly consistent championship from yourself. If you could sum up the championship season in a sentence or two, or your impressions of the championship, what would you say? What would you call it?
As in my championship?
Yeah.
Well, I guess you sort of set yourself just consistent, trying to minimize the shit rounds, which we luckily had tonight, where it didn't really matter. But you know, if we had more of those throughout the season, with alongside the rounds that I missed, we no way should have won. But yeah, luckily we kept consistent and we managed to bring it home.
And some of the battles between yourself and your brother and the likes of Kurt Stenberg, Luke Rosella, Colin Warwick, it was stuff that will be on the AFC highlight reel for years to come. Is there any one particular battle that sticks out for you this season?
To be honest, I can't remember what happened in the first race tonight, so I don't think I can remember a highlight from the whole year. But yeah, I'm sure there's heaps of good moments for us battling together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't tell you one of them at the moment.
Fair enough. Especially after a race like that, I can certainly understand if the memory banks are a bit blank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Dane. Congratulations on your second place in the first race tonight. And yeah, you're 2022 ASC champion, Dane Warren, everyone.
Thanks.
Where to next, Bagsy? You've got the next pick.
I reckon we'll go with Ethan Warren, our winner in race 1, and managed to secure second in the championship with his. Sorry, I've already thought, was it second place in the second race there? Was it fourth? Fourth. Secured fourth place. Secured second place with his fourth place in the insanity that was that race just there. Ethan, yeah, is sort of, I guess, going into it, you knew how close it was to Stenberg, and after that first race where you frankly dominated compared to Kurt, you were ready to sort of, it was meant to be just an easy romp home, I guess, at the end, but it ended up being anything but for second place.
Yeah, the first race went pretty well. Just sort of got to the front and just tried to stay there, which is always the plan. But yeah, we seemed to have a bit more pace. I'm not sure if Dane had damage or not, but yeah, it felt good to finally win one. But the second race was definitely interesting with all the battles going on. Yeah, I don't know. It's good hard racing, I'm guessing.
With in that the first race, the first round of pit stops was when you got past Dane. I think we actually missed it in the booth, but was that just you fueled a bit shorter and got out ahead of him?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. Yeah, it depends how much fuel he put in at the start, but I'm guessing it's probably something to do there. But yeah, he might have had a slow stop. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no. Well, in the end, it was a very well fought and well played. We towards the end there, when Kurt was you were back in 7th, I believe, and Kurt was up fighting for the lead. Were you thinking about what was happening in the championship, or were you just sort of like, I want to get up to the front and win the race?
I wasn't really thinking about the championship or not, to be honest. I was just having a bit of fun. So yeah, I was just trying to put my head down and get up to the front.
Well, it definitely looked like fun. Congratulations on your second place in the championship and completing the Warren sweep of this season. And look forward to seeing how it goes next year.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for all your efforts this year. It's been great to watch the broadcast back and see your efforts. You've done a great job.
Trust me, this is definitely one that you're going to want to watch back.
Yeah, I definitely will.
Thank you very much, Ethan. Congratulations. Let's have a chat to Luke Rosella as well, who's in the booth. Luke, congratulations on your pair of your third place in the first race and your first place in the second race. That second race, how was the chaos?
Yeah, it's pretty action packed. Yeah, we were just having fun. Dane was, being a dirty driver as usual. Kind of took me out every lap. No, it was good. We had the pace over maybe like 2 or 3 laps, but I think our tyre wear wasn't really as good as other drivers out there. So, yeah, no, we'll take it. But it's been an amazing season. Heaps of battles. Didn't get the championship result I would have wanted, but yeah, it was still a pretty entertaining season.
Is there anything that sticks out for you this season? You were involved in quite a few battles throughout the season. Anyone that sticks out?
Oh, like Dan said, there's been so much I can barely remember some of them. I think I had a pretty good battle with Corey at Pukekohe at the back of the field. That was probably the highlight. I think I had a good battle with Ethan and Stenny at SMP at round 1, I think. But yeah,
so long ago.
Pretty hard. Yeah, it's pretty hard to remember. But yeah, no, it's been a good season. Good to be part of the administration group as well, with help Stenny and Cole out. It's been pretty successful. We've got the numbers we would have wanted. But yeah, no, it's been good. Bring on 2023.
And so you're going to go for a full championship tilt in 2023? Is that the plan?
Yes. Yeah, there's some pretty exciting things coming up for next year. So yeah, I'll definitely be doing a full season and yeah, trying to steal that W off Dane. Hopefully, I'll cry. Yeah.
all the very best with that, and congratulations on your effort tonight and for the season.
Thanks.
And as a final word before we sign off for the season, let's invite our two season admins, Colin Warwick and Kurt Stenberg. Guys, chaos tonight, chaos reigned supreme. Both of you involved in incident and accident, but yeah, on the balance of the season, it's been quite an exciting season.
Yeah, I'll let Stenny speak first. You go ahead, Stenny.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, it's been an awesome season. It's good to run a full season without any COVID interruptions and actually follow the real schedule without any of those dramas. And yeah, it's been some awesome racing. I feel the formats have been good, turnouts have been awesome. So yeah, there's been some messy races, but there's always going to be some messy races in racing. So it's just, I'm glad that everybody seems to be enjoying themselves and out there having a good time. That's what it's all about. So it's been good. Bathurst was an awesome event, and yeah, it's only getting stronger and stronger. I can't wait for the exciting stuff to come in 2023.
And Colin, is there a bit of a sneak peek and anything you can tell us about what's going to be happening for 2023?
Stay tuned in the mod showcase and mod development channels over the next couple of weeks. We got some really cool stuff coming for sure. Been
Fantastic.
working hard behind the scenes, so yeah, can say that well, we can confirm there will be a Gen 3 mod. So
Hey.
Yeah, they're actually pretty close to being completed, so yeah, we should be testing hopefully early Feb, maybe late Jan. So yeah, just getting the models done and everything now, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Fantastic, that's awesome to hear. And still planning to continue on with the aligning with the Supercars Championship next season?
Yeah, that's the plan, but we're also looking at running some other stuff. I mean, Carrera Cup was a pretty big hit this year. Everyone seemed to enjoy those cars. I've got to give credit to Dane for doing the tyres on those, because those things are really fun to drive. But yeah, we'll probably look at doing more stuff on maybe some other nights as well, just to, you know, keep the numbers up in the group and get everyone racing, because I mean, that last race just shows when we have a bit of fun, it's a bit of chaos and a bit of a laugh. So yeah, keen to do more of that next year.
Fantastic. That was the epitome of chaos, was that last race. Just a bit of a wrap up from you guys. Just the season as a whole, any standouts or anything that you can remember as being the highlights of your seasons?
For me, probably just the racing quality overall throughout the field has picked up a lot. I mean, qualifying's a lot closer now, the racing's a lot better, and yeah, just overall as a group, we've sort of just picked up where we left off from the year before and just continue to make it better. So I have to thank you guys as well. You guys do an amazing job, and I have to thank our admin team, especially Stanny and Luke. They do a great job. And yeah, just thanks to the racers for continuing to show up. But yeah, anything that stands out, probably Bathurst. Bathurst was a great event as a whole. Even though me and Ethan didn't get the result that we wanted, the whole event was just fantastic. It ran pretty smoothly, and it was good to see a lot of finishes as well. So that was very good.
And yourself, Kurt?
Yeah, well, I'll echo Colin's things about it getting much more competitive, and I mean, this is the first season where I haven't actually won a race in the championship, so I mean, that I'm not saying that I'm the best, but that speaks volumes about the level of competition and the level of which the Warrens are at, and also Luke. So, but yeah, Bathurst, it was a highlight. I mean, I loved driving with Stiggy. The event was a bit of a downer for me with how sick I was, and I didn't quite realise how sick I was on the day, but yeah, that was definitely a highlight with the effort that you guys put in. But overall, the whole season has just been great. There's been some awesome racing, some awesome rounds out there, and some awesome new drivers come up through the field that we're starting to see knock on the door, especially with our Super 2 stuff. So I'm hoping that those guys continue improving and we start to see them knocking on the door of some of us guys, because I'm all keen for the challenge.
Brilliant. I love to hear that. Congratulations, the two of you, on administrating such a great season, and we'll see you again for 2023.
Alright, thanks, mate.
guys.
And that concludes the drivers' interviews. Bagsy, final comments of the evening. Adelaide turns it on.
Yeah, it definitely does, and it provides some excellent racing and an excellent finish to this championship. It's I feel like I'd be remiss to, you and I are sort of taking all the receiving all the praise, but the people who are really the ones who have held all this commentary and put all this production together throughout the season, being Alistair and Liam, Stairs and Madbird, their constant efforts every round, putting this together, doing the graphics, doing the production, just the sheer amount of stuff that they do in the background of this to put out a product that people can, come and watch their race later, or even the people who don't compete but just want to have a look at it. It's a thankless task, but they do such an amazing job at it and do such a professional job of it. You go and see some of the broadcasts from professional motorsports organizations, and some of them putting out worse products overall than what these guys put out. And not just them, but everyone else who's filled in for any commentary during this season. They're the people who've done a lot of good effort this year and previous years as well to really, put on an excellent show. We're lucky enough to have filled in this last round and get some of the credit, but they put together something that's quite brilliant, and I'm glad that I've been able to be a part of it this week as well.
Yeah, absolutely right, and I couldn't have said it better myself. I think particularly Stairs, and he's gonna hate me for saying this, but the amount of work that he puts in, particularly behind the scenes, in terms of the organizing of the streams, the production quality, the technical expertise, the work with the dual broadcast setup and the switcher. Like, you saw how much trouble I had with that tonight. The fact that he can do that every single race almost seamlessly is phenomenal, and his commitment to the broadcast has been something that's been a constant throughout the entire year and the entire running of ASC. So a big shout out to Stairs, and I am very thankful that he's been able to come over here and give me a bunch of his stuff so I could run the stream this evening. So his work definitely deserves a big G up, as well as Liam Madbird for his work in the graphics, putting all of those together throughout the season, and his work in commentary. I know we've missed him for quite a few rounds now, but hopefully next year we'll hear a bit more from him. Thank you very much, Bagsy, for joining along tonight, and for Matty Dunlop, who joined us earlier in the season as well. So thank you. Okay, Bagsy's not going to say anything then, I guess.
Sorry. Apologies. A quick shout out to all the people who've driven, obviously all the admins as well. You guys do a brilliant job, and it's nice that there's racing for us to commentate on.
Yeah, absolutely. That was going to be my next thing. The admins who run the series, who build the mods, who make the tires, who design the events, who run the events on the Automobilista side, the drivers who give up their time to practice, to race, to put on a show for us to commentate, people who run Super 2 and broadcast Super 2 as well, just the personalities that come into this championship and give us such a rich and fulfilling experience to be able to commentate on. Like, this is the best thing the best job to have. I just get to come in and sit and watch some racing and yell at a screen for a few hours, and it's amazing. So thank you for your work in creating this series and having it be such an exciting thing to be a part of. And thank you everyone in our audience for coming along and watching and commentating on the live streams and getting involved as well, because that certainly makes it feel like it's a community and not just us yelling into the void. So for the final time in 2022, this has been the Automobilista Supercars Championship. Congratulations to Dane Warren on being the 2022 champion. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you for season 2023.